Need expert support for your sim racing setup? SimRig Support has you covered. With over 2,000 hours of experience, our team excels in diagnosing and resolving issues swiftly. Submit a ticket for remote help, send us your hardware with a prepaid label, or book an on-site visit. We handle all major brands, from wheel to PC problems. Trust SimRig Support to keep you racing.
And so this is it then, the final step on the road to glory. Of course, we return to West Kingsdown to round out the season of the British Formula 4 Esports Championship. And of course, before all that, the UK Formula Ford 1600. Hello everyone, welcome along. Hugo Luis bringing the broadcast alongside myself, Lewis McGlade, Cameron Roger here in the commentary booth for one final time in 2024. It's been an exciting season so far. It's been a thrill ride in both of our championships here, Cam. But this is it. 2 more races in the Formula Fords, 2 more races in the Formula 4s, and we are done.
And what a season it's been. It's actually gone very fast because in reality, we only have 2 weeks off. So it's 8 rounds in 10 weeks. It's very cramped. A lot of racing on the screens for you. And it's been so much fun. We've got 2 contenders basically in each of the championships as well to really round out who is going to be the champion for today.
Yeah, exactly. It's been really, really exciting. But if this is the first round that you are joining us here, let's remind you of the format, of course. Starting things with the Formula Fords, and then we'll be moving on to the British F4s. That'll be coming up at around about 8:30 UK time. But of course, here in the Formula Fords, we're going into qualifying in just a few moments' time. Of course, running the Brands Hatch Grand Prix layer around here, so they'll get a certain amount of laps. 10-minute session, though. They'll get about 3 laps running in that one. Into race 1, a 15-minute race, which is set from the qualifying order, and then race 2, which is set from the race 1 finishing positions with a random reverse grid between 5 and 10. To remind you as to where we've been in this season as well, of course, we began the season here at Brands Hatch, of course, running the Indy layer with an absolute thrill. I mean, it was crazy racing in both the Formula Fords and the Formula 4s. We went international to Zandvoort for the very first time, and then, of course, over to the Snetterton 300 circuit with a 3-race swing, Snetterton 300, Alton Park International, and then the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit before we had our second week break, of course. Then we returned things to Knock Hill, then to Donington Park, before we are here at Brands Hatch to round out the season. Cam's already alluded to the fact that things are pretty tight at the top of the standings in both of our Formula Fords and in the Formula 4s. And as you can see, it is Mark Fletcher at the top of the championship. Show Shintani in second position. This does account for 2 rounds of drop scores, which is where we're going to get a bit bamboozled when it comes to the numbers. But we'll do our best to keep up with it. Harvey Jones there in a 1-point battle between Harvey Jones and Crofton Woodhatch. Woodhatch has been getting stronger the last couple of rounds, of course, coming fresh off the clean sweep of the previous round of the championship at Donington Park. Sam Sanders and Lewis Wherrell, who is back in the championship, 1 point separating those two. Ollie Stone also only a single point behind. Hans-Jakob Superson Moller had a terrible round a week ago. Jonathan Smith and Ian Joyner there rounding out the top 10. So much to talk about, so much to go through, and so much fantastic stuff. But again, Cam, Mark Fletcher, Shoma Shintani, the top 2 in the championship. You've got Mr. Consistency and Mark Fletcher, Mr. Speedy and Shoma Shintani.
Absolutely. If you look at the stats, it's quite interesting. Shintani has 6 wins to Fletcher's 3, but then Fletcher has 10 top 5 finishes compared to Shintani's 7. So out of those top 5 finishes for Shintani, 6 wins, 1 are not. Whereas for Fletcher, he's been, as you say, that little bit more consistent up there at the front. So that is why he is getting those points on the board. Shintani's had a couple of important DNFs there, actually, in crucial races where he could have potentially won or even got podiums, but then DNFing from them, losing a lot of points. So when everything comes together at the end, we'll have to obviously try and do the maths. But it's looking good for Fletcher if he can have another one of his consistent results today.
Yeah, needs to have a clean round, although he himself will tell you about where his shortcomings have been this season. So in one major place that he's had a bit of a bit of a tough run of things, and that is qualifying. Qualifying's not gone particularly well for Fletcher this season. It's not been disastrous, it's just not been great, and that's kind of the bit that's held him back from potentially completely dominating this championship. Alas, a decent qualifying in the final round of the season. Maybe he'll be on for it. Of course, he does have 3 victories to Shoma Shintani's 6 victories. To again really hammer home your point there, Cam, that Shintani's got the speed, he's got the ability. The thing is he's on a few times this season, he's won one of the races and then basically retired or had a really, really bad score in the second of the races, which then kind of doesn't help him on the drop scores because it's only dropping your worst 2 rounds. That round is both the races combined.
Indeed. So you have to, especially when it's a double race format, sort of as you're alluding to, so there's 8 rounds, but 16 races. There's actually quite a lot. So you do have to have that, ability to get yourself to the front and stay there. And Fletcher, there's a couple of occasions where he maybe backed out of a battle or a potential crash situation and basically took a couple of points less. He held on to second a couple of times where he could have gone for the win, things like that. But that's kept him in this position, whereas Shintani, he's very aggressive. He's gone back to front. He's won the reverse grid races when he's gone back to 8th, 9th place, and he's still got back to the front and been challenging for the win. But a few times he then crashes and loses all of the points. So it's a risk versus reward thing. We know Fletcher's a little bit more cautious, but what we saw last time was that Mark was way more aggressive and he was able to be right up at the front.
Yeah, indeed. We're in qualifying, of course, here at Brands Hatch. And just a reminder as to how things can work. They have a 10-minute session. That sounds great. Plenty of time. However, they are limited by the amount of laps they can do in the session. That limit for this round for the Formula Fords is 3 laps, courtesy of being a normal length circuit. Obviously, Knock Hill, they had 4. Brands Hatch, Indy, they had 4. But here they have 3 laps to get this lap right. We're on board with Harvey Jones here, of course, is in that tight fight with Croft and Woodhatch. Overtaking around here, Cam, it's pretty tricky, isn't it?
Certainly is a lot of fast corners through this GP loop that we've added on compared to the Indy circuit, and they're basically all fast corners. You of course break a bit here for Sterling's, but in general it's very much a momentum track from a momentum-based car.
Yeah, indeed. Now, I've forced Cam to do all of the tracks, basically all of the tracks so far this season. I'll take you over a little bit of a run around the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit, of course. Obviously, it's been a staple of British motorsport for an awful long time, opened back in 1950. Let's run around the circuit, straight into Paddock Hill, drop it down a gear and find it into the apex. It's a little bit wide there for Harvey Jones. We run down Paddock Hill, an enormous drop off there as we run up now into Druids Corner, the second corner of the circuit, one that's quite easy to defend by taking a diagonal line over in the braking zone. You'll see quite a few attempts of moves around here, especially around the outside before we chuck it into the left-hander at Graham Hill Bend, which saw its fair share of drama when we were running in the Brands Indy right at the start of the season. Not happy is Harvey Jones about the lap that we're looking at here, and understandably so, as we end the Cooper Straight into Surtees, arguably one of the hardest corners in British motorsport. I've never found a good line around here as we head onto the Grand Prix loop, then down Pilgrim's Drop as we head under the bridge, which carries you over to the inside of the circuit, and then up towards Hawthorns, at the top of Hawthorns Hill. Flick it through the right-hander here, pull it up towards the curbing on the right-hand side before you get to Westfield Bend. Really tricky corner, completely blind on entry. You flick it through there, and then watch out not to run too far over to the left-hand side and put 2 wheels into the gravel trap through Dingledale, which we're running through now, and then up towards the Sheen curve, completely blind all the way through, and expect drivers to dip 2 wheels on the left-hand side there on the grass, and that could definitely cause quite an incident. Into Sterling's, the penultimate corner of the racetrack, before we head down towards Clearways, and the final corner of the track at Clark Curve. Over back to the left-hand side, and then we return to the Indy layout, flick it through the right-hand at Clark, and then back out onto the Brabham Straight, past the pit building there on the right-hand side to complete a lap time. Harvey Jones wasn't particularly pleased with the lap time there. Understandably so. It wasn't ideal. I don't think it will count.
Absolutely not, but definitely some track limit places in this at this track, and that we need to be looking out for in this session as Southern time starts coming very close up towards the front as Martin Vilk, out of the first 9 drivers, gets himself up towards the front with a 32.496, but just in behind is Corey Lane, and then Mark Fletcher, one of your championship contenders, of course, leading coming into this session today, and he does need a good qualifying. He has picked it up slightly in the most recent races, but if he can secure himself a top 5, that'll be very good.
Jonathan Smith then moves up into second position in the standings. As we'll see the end, Mark Fletcher's lap. I was going to say the end of the lap for Crofton Woodhatch is about to come in. He's had a real turnaround of form, didn't he? Last round, obviously taking his first victory, and then why not? I'll take a second one, don't worry about it. Does Crofton Woodhatch see if he moves his way up in the order? A few drivers going out slightly later than others in this session. Ian Joyner then moving up to 12th position, having a terrible first lap, 18.3 seconds off of the top times. I will tell you, yeah, there we go. Crofton Woodhatch has just jumped up to the top of the session. Shomi Shintani, following the same strat, goes into second.
And of course, we have Lewis Werrell in this session as well, the 98. He has been looking strong so far this season, but has missed a few rounds, unfortunately. That drops him down to 6th place in the championship as it stands, but that is so close up towards the front. Of course, Woodhatch as well, he got pole position by a quarter of a second at Donington last week. Is it going to be a similar situation when we get the final laps, but already the top two, half a second to the good, as Mark Fletcher comes across the line, and he's going to be setting himself a little bit of a better time. He jumps up into 4th place as Sanders jumps in.
Yeah, big kick of oversteer there from Fletcher, beginning his final lap of this session, getting down to a 32.1, like you were saying there. The lap time from practice, that top practice, was from this driver here, Shomi Shintani, second in the championship, was able to put in a 31.405 in the practice session coming into this. Is also, you know, he's coming into it in a solid position in the championship, but a really solid position when it comes to form. Does have 2 laps left to go in the session, so we'll see the end of this one and see if there's going to be any further improvement over Crofton Woodhatch, who of course at this point in the session, Cam, is also still a lap time. Woodhatch is just coming through the final corner now.
As also Werrell jumps up into P7 with his lap time. That is a quarter of a second, really, for the top 8 drivers. How close we are here at Brands Hatch GP. 4 minutes to go in the session, a few more laps coming in. Shintani there with a 0.087, so almost identical to the first time that he put up, so he stays in second place for now.
Yeah, which is almost exactly the same as what Crofton Woodhatch did, a 32.050, so it was only a few hundredths again faster. Sam Sanders has gone obviously into 3rd position, and once again, disappointment here for Harvey Jones, who's having a bit of a struggle and a bit of a mare in the session, and is pulling over to one side. There will be no lap time set for Harvey Jones. First lap time had track limits excursions. Second lap time, track limits. Third lap time, you guessed it, track limits, as Sam Sanders across the line. No improvement from him as Corey Aline goes up inside the top 10.
That's a big one for Harvey Jones. He's been up in that top 5 battle really for the whole season, along with Fletcher, Sanders, Shintani, Woodhatch. They're all up there at the moment, and he's not going to be joining them. Here's Ian Joyner, who had a great round a couple of rounds ago, a couple of weeks ago at Knock Hill, and he's now up into 11th place, but just 3/10 off. It's so tight between all of these drivers as he comes to the end of his session, as I believe he has got 3 laps on the board, so I don't know if this one will count.
Yeah, I don't believe so. The next drivers that will actually count on lap time, definitely Crofton Woodhatch and Shomi Shintani, who are just behind Ian Joyner in this session. I believe this lap time might count from Joyner, because I think this is on. No, this lap time will count from Joyner. Just a little check. He's completed 2 lap times. He's on his 3rd. Joyner will cross the line, and it won't. He's exceeded track limits on it, so never mind. Shomi Shintani then up towards the line. Can he beat Crofton Woodhatch? He just got the line set at 31.853, 31.798, second of the championship. Then goes to the top of the session. It's over for Fletcher, who's completed all 3 of his lap times in the session, and his championship rival Shomi Shintani looks to be taking provisional pole position here.
And that is big, because Woodhatch once again quarter of a second to the field, and then Shintani just matches him, which he couldn't do, and had some struggles in the race in Donington, therefore, with all the battles there. So definitely a big lap time there for Shintani to keep his championship hopes alive as he tries to chase down Mark Fletcher by 35 points here tonight. And of course, some other maths to do when we get to the end of these couple of races tonight. Scudell is coming up to the final corner, P17 so far. This is his final lap time. That will count as he rounds his way through Clark Curve and up towards the start-finish line. Is there going to be any sort of improvement? He is 1.2 seconds off as it stands.
Yeah, we'll see across the line. No major improvement. That took a little while to update. Up to 8th position for Conor Scudell. So not too bad. And I'm pretty sure that's basically everyone done in this session, with about 80 seconds left to go on the timesheets. But of course, the big talking point is about Shomi Shintani and Mark Fletcher there. Harvey Jones, as you were alluding to, obviously currently sits 3rd in the championship, 1 point clear of Crofton Woodhatch. He'll be starting the race from 2nd. Crofton Woodhatch has had some bad rounds. Now, the reason why I bring that up as a pertinent point is that with how the drop scores work, if you've had a couple of bad rounds, with how the drop scores work, you kind of have more to gain from this round because your worst round has basically 0 points in it. Whereas if your worst round has 10 points, then you can only kind of score 10 points off the maximum, if you understand what I mean. Like, this is where drop scores get a little bit too complicated, and I'm done.
No, basically, yeah, your point is, if you've got bad results already, what you get today is actually going to increase your total. Whereas if you've already got good rounds, this round may not actually count towards your total. So because you've already got those points, if this round would then therefore be one of the dropped ones. So it is really just a situation of, have you banked your points already, or do you still have work to do today? And that's why those drivers such as Crofton Woodhatch, they need a good round today to boost themselves up. Whereas Shintani, if he goes and gets like an 8th place, it's probably not really going to be too helpful for him.
Yeah, indeed. Now the question is to how aggressive does Mark Fletcher get on this start? We saw he got a little bit more elbows out than he had done in previous rounds. Again, a quick reminder, if you are joining us for the British Formula 4 Esports Championship, that will be coming up later on this evening in just about an hour's time. We'll be heading into the effectively the final round of action for the British Formula 4 Esports Championship. Keeping things focused here on the Formula Fords, and it's Shomi Shintani second in the championship, grabbing pole position for the evening. Crofton Woodhatch will start alongside him, the four-man from Donington Park. Sam Sanders starting from 3rd position. Championship leader Mark Fletcher will start from 4th position, with Hans Jakob Siversen Mollat starting from 5th. Martin Vilk will start from 6th position. Back to Ollie Stone in 7th. Connor Skudau, a late improvement for him, up to 8th position, with Lewis Werrell on a return to the Formula Fords in 9th. Jonathan Smith will start from 10th place to final position inside the top 10. Corioline and then Brandon Loudon starting from 12th. Still within half a second. We jump outside of that now with Ian Joyner in 13th. Mike Pollard from 14th position with Frank Sikorsky, Sondre Mollat, who's looking just to end the season with a decent round and maybe a double finish. We'll have to wait and see. Joshua Bagembe from 17th, and no lap time set courtesy of Mark Warner or Harvey Jones, who'll be starting from the rear of the field. 15-minute race, Cam. Who's coming out on top?
I like Shintani. I do like Shintani for this one. We know when he gets into the lead, he's tough to beat, and he's already there. If he can keep that into turn 1, he's looking good. But Woodhatch, if he repeats his double win, that is a big time to do it in the final 2 rounds of the season to get a double victory.
I'm gonna go Fletcher.
Oh,
yeah, Fletcher. Why not? You've gone for one of our championship protagonists. I'll go for the other. Thing is, it's definitely going to roll into the final race championship-wise. It's going to be exciting. It's going to be thrilling. But really, for Mark Fletcher, he just needs a double finish. Shomi Shintani needs something special here. He basically needs a double victory. 15 minutes gets put onto the clock. Then Shomi Shintani will start from pole position. And the final round of the Formula Fords here about to get underway as we are racing down towards Paddock Hill for the penultimate time this season. Good start from Shomi Shintani. Crofton Woodhatch already covering off Sam Sanders on the race down towards turn 1. Mark Fletcher trying to attack and try and get past into 3rd position, but has decided to stay in 4th and go for any major look. To order Sam Sanders there on the look down the inside going into Druid. There is a look in the background though, as I believe that might be Connor Skudau trying to get a move done and try and work his way past Oliver Stone.
Has he been able to complete it? No, he's going to be on the outside there as we work our way through Graham Hill. They're still side by side. They've been there for a good kilometre now as they come up towards Surtees. Around the outside is going to go. Stone actually loses 2 places as Werrell comes through 2.
Yeah, welcome back to the Formula Fords. Lewis Werrell was missing for a couple of rounds. Definitely out of it in the championship because he's missed 3 rounds of racing this season, but had an awful lot to do in the real world of, just everything really. Jonathan Smith, Brandon Loudon there going side by side a little bit as they race their way up to the top of Hawthorns Hill. Oh. Whoa, that's a big crash for Sondre Mollat. I said he was looking for a double finish today. He's not going to get it in what has been a dismal season. Looks to be ending in a dismal way.
He has been so fast this season, but he's also had the most DNFs as well. He just keeps on getting involved in incidents, and that's another one to add to it. And I believe it might be a first lap incident in Donington that took him out as well last week. Yep. Not the season that he would have wanted. The 666 is out of the race already.
Yeah, indeed, has retired and has bailed from the session. I do not believe we'll see Sondre Mollat back in for race 2 either, sadly. It is what it is. Bit of a moment and a bit of a wide one there. You will have just seen just from Connor Skudau, as we'll see what happened with the 666.
Just on the grass.
Yeah.
On the grass on entry, couldn't turn, and his front left wheel there was completely hanging off the cars. You come back up to Druids, someone off in the background, but in the foreground, Sanders almost looking down the inside of Woodhatch, but the top 5 are starting to break away. Yeah,
it was Lewis Werrell getting past Connor Scudell there. We saw as we jumped now up towards Croft and Woodhatch and the likes, was attacking Shomi Shintani there a little bit. Mark Fletcher will like to get past Sam Sanders at the moment, with relative ease, so that he can then keep his eye on his championship rival. Thing is, he's got a couple of positions behind Shomi Shintani now, and so that'll be a pretty nervy moment for Fletcher as we head out onto the Grand Prix loop. And of course, there's Pilgrim's Drop now, the race up towards Hawthorns Hill. Defensive line coming in from Shomi Shintani. Still able to hang on.
Yeah, he's looking fairly strong at the moment, but the fact that everyone is packed up behind him here shows that they have the pace today. And to be fair, they were within, a couple of tenths in qualifying, so very close lap times, and of course the slipstream just brings everyone together. And these top 5 are pulling away from Martin Vilk, and they are all basically been held off. In the background, Scudell, Stone, they've had some issues. The 56 there, that is Jonathan Smith. He was also involved, so 3 cars there losing time.
Yeah, indeed. Like you say, Ollie Stone, there was Connor Scudell, and of course Jonathan Smith, as you allude to, all having moments. We haven't seen why Mike Pollard is out of the race, but another retirement to add to the list as well, as here comes the attack to the outside. Croft and Woodhatch trying to get past Shomi Shintani, backs out of it as we head down into Paddock Hill. Still only completed 3 minutes of this race. There's still so much time left to go, but already Croft and Woodhatch is going on the attack. Mark Fletcher trying to get past Sam Sanders with a big move down the inside as we head down to the second corner of the circuit at Druids. Croft and Woodhatch trying to stick it around the outside of Shomi Shintani. Almost has the move alongside the inside, heading down into Graham Hill Bend. Mark Fletcher did clear Sam Sanders, but Croft and Woodhatch was unable to get past our race leader.
Yeah, lovely move from the championship leader. Here's the first, though, Ollie Stone coming up. Huge send over the inside from Scudell, up the inside of Jonathan Smith, and unfortunately Ollie Stone just caught up in that one. But yeah, that was the wrong side of the curve there for Ollie Stone. For Scudell, and Stone literally just nowhere to go. Actually, sorry, Smith was in the foreground, so it was actually Werrell who was involved in that one.
I did get to the bottom, by the way, of one of the big mysteries of the 2024 UK Formula Ford 1600 Esports Cup, which is what are all the boxes behind Ollie Stone? I did get a message. The boxes were about 1,500 football shirts, by the way. He's got a day job. He sells football tops and stuff like that. So that's pretty cool. But there we go. Now we know what all those boxes were for. Mystery solved. Thank you, Ollie Stone, for messaging me about that one. As we'll head back up to the front of the field. Unfortunately, the race, he won't care about boxes and stuff behind him. He'll be frustrated this race hasn't gone quite well for him. Back up to the front, Shomi Shintani, Croft and Woodhatch, Mark Fletcher, as Woodhatch looks to the outside of Shintani, heading down into Paddock Hill. I think there might be a good drive coming off here from Fletcher.
And you know what Shintani doesn't need is to get involved with Woodhatch, who's not his championship rival. And therefore, if they have an incident, like I believe actually it was those two had an incident at this very corner, Graham Hill Bend, at the very first round of the season, which led, was that Lewis Werrell and Mark Fletcher maybe batting for the lead on that day. That is what caused that incident, and now it's the same two drivers again. And Shintani does not need to get involved with Woodhatch, when he's got Fletcher sitting there waiting to pick up the pieces.
Knowing how intensely Shintani and Fletcher battled the previous round, I'd almost be if I'm Woodhatch. I'd almost back out of it a little bit to allow Fletcher to go through. In fact, he wants to jump through and take over the race lead to the outside through Hawthorns. He's going to go side by side between the pair of them. Shintani with the inside line, riding on board now with Mark Fletcher to see this move potentially come off from Woodhatch. Big send coming through, big contact. This could open the door, and here comes Mark Fletcher. There's a spin with Sam Sanders as well, and the side by side continues between Shomi Shintani and Croft and Woodhatch. Woodhatch still on the outside. Whilst that was happening though, Mark Fletcher has come through to take over the race lead. The championship leader hits the front.
As he does, we've also got Werrell and Vilk who've joined the back of this battle. So Sanders has gone down to P7. He spun and continues. How on earth is Shintani facing the right way? He was almost spun around. Croft and Woodhatch must have got out of the gas there to avoid a spin for Shintani. That's exactly what I was mentioning half a lap earlier. Shintani couldn't afford to get involved with a non-championship contender, and now Fletcher's leading.
Yep, and Lewis Werrell was trying to get past Martin Vilk there at the first corner, as we see from up above. That was how Sam Sanders got punted around. It was on the nose of Hans-Jakob Siversen-Mollett, but to be fair, Mollett wouldn't really have known what was happening up ahead of him, and so couldn't really get on the brakes that quickly. It happened so fast. Fletcher read it brilliantly though, didn't he? And he came through to take the race lead. It's certainly not done yet.
Oh, it's not indeed. This is going to be a thrilling couple of races as we're halfway through the first one. Side by side, all the spin in the background there as well, coming through Graham Hill Bend. That maybe was Harvey Jones who's gone around his day, just going from bad to worse up towards the front. We're also seeing Shintani now having some battles. Here it was, yeah. Harvey Jones has just been tagged on the rear in the red car. I think that's Corey Lane.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, and I kind of wonder if that might have bent some of the rear suspension or something like that. Whoa, off the road! That's Lewis Werrell. No, it's Martin Vilk, sorry. Martin Vilk has been off the road there, and he loses the position immediately to Sam Sanders, who's absolutely thrown one into Westfield Bend. Back up to the top then, the top two in the championship. Shomi Shintani, Mark Fletcher, first and second in this race. It's champion leader ahead of second in the championship at the moment. 7 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the race. We are officially at the halfway point.
I tell you what, if I was Fletcher, I would actually prefer to be in third place and just sit behind and take the third. But he was gifted the race lead and he probably doesn't want it. And now he's got to have this awkward battle with his championship rival. Shintani goes to the outside, up towards Paddock Hill Bend. It's a big, brave move if you want to do this. But we know that's exactly what the Japanese driver likes to do. Around the outside he's going to go.
Yeah, Shintani sends it in through Paddock Hill, and I think you're absolutely right. Fletcher's been like, see you lads, I'm not involved in this, thanks. And he drops back to third position. It's exactly as you were talking about there, Cam. Not weighing up too much risk. He's been very good with the risk this season, is Mark Fletcher, and that's why he's in the championship lead and why he's looking so strong for this championship. A couple of third places will be more than good enough for him, as we'll see Shomi Shintani back at the front, Croft and Woodhatch in second. I mean, Woodhatch with second. That'll be an all right result for him, but I think he's just looking to end the season with 4 consecutive victories, because why not? Here he goes.
Oh, this is tight between the two. Maybe the tiniest brush of contact with the front nose there. And that was so predictable from Fletcher to get out of the way of this battle. These guys are going hammer and tongs. Fletcher does not need this race victory necessarily, whereas it's a little bit more important for either of these drivers. So you can just sit there in that third place as long as he can hold off Molla. Up the inside is going to be for Woodhatch, at least half a think about it. Didn't think he was really going to go for that in the end, but he's prodding, he's poking, he's trying to find a way through.
Yeah, Sheen's never really a great place to launch one down the inside. There's no real braking zone for there. You just dip the brakes and chuck the nose into the corner. It's a bit of a defensive line there from Fletcher. He'll desperately not want to lose third position to Hans Jakob Siversen Molla or to Lewis Werrell behind. The top 5 separated by 3/4 of a second as we ride on board with Molla, trying to close up the rear end of Fletcher. Back over the left-hand side of the start-finish straight. Mirrors being filled for Mark Fletcher here by Molla, who sent it down the inside at Paddock Hill. The up and under get instantly come for the title leader as he's trying to find his way through into third position once more. Lewis Werrell directly behind, staring at what's happening ahead. Shomi Shintani fends Croft and Woodhatch off the race lead, and Lewis Werrell is going to make a move potentially here on Hans Jakob Siversen Molla. Contact between the pair of them as they come off of Druids.
Oh, that was beautiful as Werrell goes completely wide there. He's going to have to drop back into 5th place, but that was a beautiful move by Fletcher. The up and under through turn 1 at Paddock Hill Bend to hold on to that 3rd place. But that is actually the issue. I guess maybe he would want to be leading, and now that we have a top 5 battle, he's got 2 drivers behind, because he doesn't want to get involved in a silly battle with a non-championship rival either. It's a tricky one for Shintani and Fletcher to work out where they want to be on the track and how they want to get to the end of this championship.
Yep, indeed. Croft and Woodhatch still giving a bit of a look to the back of Shomi Shintani, who realistically needs the double victory, and he needs drama for Mark Fletcher if Shintani is able to take the 2024 crown. Of course, the crown that was taken by Henry Moore plenty early last season. It's not going to be taken early this season. This is going to need that final race, of course, as Shintani still leads from Woodhatch, from Fletcher, from Molla, from Werrell off the road in the background, and a bit of a moment as well for Ian Joyner, but I believe it was Sam Sanders who was pushing it to the absolute limit going through the penultimate corner at Sterling's.
These drivers are not giving up, even though it's the final round of the season. They are giving it absolutely everything. To the outside once more for Woodhatch. He's just trying to slow Shintani down, trying to get him offline, get that up and under that Fletcher did on the previous lap, and he might have it. He's got his nose up the inside as we come up the hill towards Druids. Up the inside as well in the background for Molla. Side by side for the race lead is going to be Shintani all the way around the outside. He should be able to defend that down the hill.
Yeah, we're going to get maybe 3 laps, including this one left to go in proceedings. Back on board with Fletcher, staring at the top 2, separated by 7/100ths of a second, not 7/10ths, 7/100ths of a second between Shomi Shintani and Croft and Woodhatch. There was a look to the inside by Hans Jakob Siversen Molla to try and get past Fletcher, who fends him off nicely. And the side-by-side will take them up towards the top of Hawthorns Hill once again. It's Croft and Woodhatch on the outside of Shomi Shintani, who's trying to back out maybe.
Oh, I don't know about that. Up the inside, they're going to send it. They give each other just about enough room. We saw what happened last time they went side by side here up at Westfield. So actually, Shintani backs out of it that time. Doesn't want to risk anything, but it does get slowed up just a little bit. But Woodhatch has the lead.
Yeah, the reason why I said that so confused, I thought Shomi Shintani, it looked like he was almost backing out. I'm like, no, Shintani doesn't back out. What's this? But Woodhatch now hits the front then. 3 minutes left to go. We're about to start then the penultimate lap of this race, the penultimate race of the season, 15 of 16. It's Woodhatch out front. It took him a long time. 13 races, in fact. It's unlucky for some, but certainly not for Woodhatch. It took him 13 races to take that first victory. He then had back-to-back races. He's now looking for 3 in a row. Shintani could end that and take his 7th of the season. Mark Fletcher could take his 4th of the season and put one hand on the crown as Lewis Werrell makes a bold move down the inside of Paddock Hill to take 3rd.
Yeah, Fletcher had to get off the gas to not make it 3 wide. Werrell says, thank you very much. I'm going up the inside, and he might do it as well. So Woodhatch, backs out of that one. So Fletcher down to 4th place in the back of Moller going off the track. And the top 2 swap around. So it's all changed inside the top 5 there, just in a couple of corners. Where do you want to position yourself for the final lap? Do you want to be leading? Do you want to be in 2nd place? And for Fletcher, is he going to risk everything to get a podium, or is 4th or 5th enough in his plans?
I think around here you want to be leading. You don't want to leave it to the last lap. You don't want to be in 2nd position on the last lap, because as much as you can make the move like what we're seeing here for Croft and Woodhatch, he's not going to be alongside enough to try anything up towards Hawthorns. You need to be in the lead of the race if you want to take the victory. And that sounds obvious, but sometimes we said this before. You kind of, on some circuits, you want to be in 2nd place. Use the slipstream on the last lap to work your way through. That's exactly what happened at Zandvoort, of course, where Fletcher took that victory over Shintani. Whereas around here, track position's king. That's the thing that reigns supreme around Brands Hatch, and that's exactly what Croft and Woodhatch is trying to retake over. Where's his best opportunity? Is it down to T1 at Paddock Hill, or is it on the run up towards Hawthorns?
Oh, I think he got to do it at Druids. I think the up and under in turn 1 gets the run up the hill to Druids. That's got to be the one, surely, as we come on to the final lap of the race. The top 2 have a car length advantage. Lewis Werrell is actually in with a half a shout here of this race victory. Let's see what Woodhatch wants to do.
Great speed from Woodhatch on the start-finish straight. Shintani with the inside line, doesn't get fully alongside before the break zone. Tries the up and under that Cam's been talking about as he tries to work his way to the inside of Druids. It's not quite worked. There goes the defensive line from Shintani. Woodhatch to the outside. Lewis Werrell filling the mirrors and his return to the Formula Ford. Shintani's going to hold firm and going to hang on here at least for now.
And Werrell half thinking about it for Woodhatch. Woodhatch has got to look forward and behind. He goes a little bit wide there, actually. Loses half a car length. Shintani will have slight breathing room down in towards 30s. The next good opportunity is as we go down Pilgrims Drop and up towards Hawthorne Bend. These 2 have been side by side there already twice this race.
Yeah, indeed. And here we go. Let's see if Croft and Woodhatch can get alongside. We drop down and rise our way back up to the top of Hawthorns Hill. Not trying to pick up the slipstream as Woodhatch couldn't get alongside Shoma Shintani. Going to try the up and under into Westfield Bend. That's not going to be a wise idea.
Oh, no, he was thinking about it, but not quite the wise decision. Is Shintani there? A little bit too much curb. This is an opportunity. Final lap time. The checker flag is out. Who is going to get there first? On the outside of Sheens. That's not where you want to go.
No, but he's going to get the up and under here up towards Sterling's. Big moment there from Shintani. Croft and Woodhatch is sending it to the outside. Shintani has the inside line and holds on to the position. One final corner left to go for Shoma Shintani. He's trying everything desperately to win this race, to try and seek his way the 2024 crown. Through the final corner they go. Lewis Werrell's going to come through to 2nd place, but Shoma Shintani, for the 7th time in 2024, is going to take victory in the Formula Fords. Lewis Werrell will take 2nd position on his return to the championship, and Croft and Woodhatch 1/10 off of the victory, 3rd place.
What a finish there. That was almost a 4-wide finish with Fletcher fanning out to the left-hand side of the track. Lovely final lap there. Once again, Shintani finding a way to hold on. I think Woodhatch will be very disappointed that he dropped down into 3rd place after leading at points in that race. But certainly, that is a great fight. A few points gained for Shintani, though.
Yeah, indeed. It's not been the incredible round. Well, I'd say it's not been the incredible round. We've only done a bit of it. He's not been as lucky as maybe he needs to, is Shoma Shintani, because as much as he's won the race, he's got the pole position, he's done everything he could. But he needed a bit more drama for Fletcher. That is the thing for Shintani right now, is he needed that drama for Fletcher. Fletcher was hanging on, 4th place, good points. That's the important bit, isn't it? As we'll race our way down. Let's see the reverse grid, though. It's going to be 8th place is the reverse grid. Not quite 9th, so we were almost rolling our way over, but it will be 8th place indeed, the reverse grid. So Shomi Shintani for the final race of the season will start from 8th. It means that Corioline will be starting from the final reverse grid pole position. But let's roll you through the provisional results from race 15 of the championship. Shintani, Werrell and Crofton Woodhatch separated by 0.08 of a second across the line, with only another 0.08 of a second back to Mark Fletcher. Incredible stuff. The top 5 separated by half a second. Hans Jakob Siversen Mollart finishing in the final position inside the top 5 and within a second of the race lead. Martin Vilk in 6th position with Sam Sanders after that spin. Unfortunately finished 0.06 of a second behind the Czech driver, and 7th is what he'll have to walk away with. Corioline will finish from 8th. He'll be starting from the reverse grid pole the next time before we get to Joshua Bigembe and Franek Sikorsky, the final 2 drivers inside the top 10. Ollie Stone in 11th position with Harvey Jones after the issues in qualifying, starting from 12th. Connor Scudau will be finishing rather in 13th position with Brandon Loudon and Jonathan Smith. Late drama from them drops them a lap back. Retirements for Ian Joyner, for Mikey Pollard, for Sondre Mollart on the very first lap. Mark Warner, unfortunately, wasn't even able to take to the race start. So much drama in all this, so much great racing, absolutely thrilling. Let's talk then to Shomi Shintani, who of course took his 7th victory of the season. Shoma, fantastic stuff, excellent battle between yourself and Crofton Woodhatch, and a 7th victory. You've had an incredible season. Can you take an 8th in the next race?
Yeah, I hope so. It was a very tough race. I have a good pace, but you know, in this track, slipstream is so huge. So yeah, I couldn't pull away. So yeah, I defended a lot, but yeah, I am happy with that.
We saw a bit of a moment with you and Woodhatch at Westfield Bend, one of the right-handers around the Grand Prix loop, where you kind of dived down the inside. There was a bit of contact between you and Woodhatch, allowed Fletcher to come through. What was your mindset at that point? Was it, oh my goodness, I nearly crashed, or was it, I need to go get past Fletcher straight away?
I was thinking about the only winning. I thought I need to pass Mark. So yeah.
Are you thinking about the championship still, or is that kind of on the back burner? Let's just win both the races this round and see what happens with Mark, because it feels it might be a little bit more out of your control.
It's difficult to win a championship today, but I'm gonna try it.
We'll keep our fingers crossed for you in the next race, Shomi. You'll be starting from 8th position. Fingers crossed for you. Have a good one.
Yeah, thank you.
And there we go. Shomi Shintani, race victory 7 times this season. He's taken half the victories of the season. That is absolutely incredible. Let's talk, though, about the return of one man, Mr. Lewis Werrell, back into the championship. We've missed you, Lewis, and straight back onto the top 4 things. Not quite a victory, missing out by a very, very small margin, but an excellent run to 2nd place. Talk us through that race. You had to work through it there, qualifying in 9th spot up to 2nd. Brilliant stuff.
I made a big mistake on my last lap in qualifying, which costed me of being where I finished in the race. But I worked hard and just kept on going, and when they were all battling, just picked up the pieces of the championship and just went for it.
What are your goals this round? Because obviously you're out of the championship hunt now because you missed one too many rounds really from the season. But you can still go and get a decent position in the championship and still go out and have a little bit of fun anyway.
Yeah, well, I want to win, but I also don't want to really interrupt the championship battle. But I think I'm just going to send it, to be honest.
And obviously, maybe we'll catch up with you after the next race. Maybe we won't. But let's talk about some of your highlights of the season. You've been a fantastic driver, a fantastic influence on the championship. It's been very, very exciting watching you race. How's the season panned out for you up until this point? Because it's
well,
pretty good.
The start of the season was really good. Was leading the points, and then it was me and Mark who had a bit of a gap, and I had to miss some rounds, unfortunately. But we've come back well this race, and hopefully the next race is another podium.
Yeah, we'll keep our fingers crossed. You'll be joining us back in the interview booth. Of course, you'll be starting from 7th position in the next race, so best of luck.
Not bad. Started 9th last time.
Fingers crossed, Lewis. Good luck.
Thank you.
There we go. Lewis Werrell back onto the podium on his return to the championship. And let's talk about the four-man of last round. Able to take a double victory back in Donington Park. Able to take a third position here. But a fantastic fight between you and Shoma all the way through the race, Crofton. I mean, that was that was a breathtaking race. Excellent racing. What was it like from you?
Yeah, it was a good race. It was a close race, but a little bit annoyed at some of the driving going on. But hey ho. Still managed to finish on the podium, so yeah, it was all right.
What's it like out there when it is so tight in the battles? Because of course, you know, the top five they're separated by half a second, the top three across the line by a tenth of a second. Incredibly tight margins. It must be so difficult to go toe to toe around here.
No, it is difficult to manage, especially when you got cars swerving across the track in front of you. When it's a car that you sort of need to be predictable in, when you got cars being unpredictable, it's very hard to race against. But no, it's a lot of fun. Just sometimes it's a bit frustrating at the same time.
Obviously, two of the drivers involved in that battle. One of them, Shoma Shintani. One of them, Mark Fletcher. They're obviously involved in the championship fight. Is that anything that's playing on your mind when you're in those battles, or are you just thinking, look, this is a race, we've just got to race it as we go and see what happens, or are you kind of like thinking about maybe Mark's going to be less aggressive than Shoma, who's kind of got nothing to lose in this?
Yeah, Shoma's going to be the aggressor here. Mark has had quite a big gap, so yeah, Shoma's the one to look out for, and then obviously Lewis has come back from not really doing his missed 3 rounds now, so he's a little bit out of the fight. I've just got to try and finish ahead of Harvey to get third, and Harvey didn't have a great one in that first one, so that's all I'm looking to do really.
He did not indeed. Well, best of luck in the next race where you'll be starting from 6th position. Chances of a victory from there?
Probably quite high, to be honest. There's a couple of opportunities to overtake. I think some people could end up throwing themselves off the track. Yeah, we'll see.
We'll keep our fingers crossed. Cheers, Crofton.
Thank you.
There we go, Cam. Absolutely excellent stuff to round out things in the first race. But obviously we've got that second race, and we've got an 8-car reverse grid.
We certainly do. One of the bigger numbers. It's quite interesting hearing Crofton's point of view there. He's he's not necessarily the most emotional person in terms of expressing that, but he definitely seems like he's quite annoyed, and he's going to be coming back for some revenge in this second race. So I'm quite looking forward to this one and seeing how aggressive he wants to be to get to the front, because he's not involved in the championship fight. He could just go out and just try and get the race victory, and he can put other people in a position where maybe they have to back out of it. So that's going to be quite interesting.
Yeah, I'm not going to speak on behalf of Crofton there, but I think we can all probably assume that he's alluding to a little bit of the fighting from Shoma Shintani there. Which, to be fair, can you necessarily blame Shoma Shintani for racing that aggressively when he's putting everything on the line? Because, as I was kind of alluding to that, Shoma's got almost nothing to lose here and everything to gain. If he risks everything to take the victory, and he takes the win, then all's great. But if he kind of rolls everything on the back foot and then doesn't go for everything on the victory and then ends up finishing in second, third, fourth, and then he comes up a couple of points shy in the championship, you'd be sat there kicking yourself, wouldn't you?
Absolutely, he has to go for it, and that's what he's done all season. That's why, as you said after the race, he's won half of the races this season just by himself. So that's just his style, and whether that's whether some drivers agree or disagree with that, that's what they got to race against, and they know what's coming. And it's one of those situations where Wood actually had to find a way through. He did find a way through, actually, but of course Shoma was able to retake that position. So he needs to find a way to stay out the front this time, because he's starting, obviously, literally right in front of him on the same side of the grid, with Shintani following him into turn 1.
Yeah, I mean, you can see that, by the way, in the top left of your screen, the practice. They're currently in a practice session. That's just so they can get used to the new conditions. No rain, don't worry. Just so they can get used to the conditions, get used to the car again, and make sure all the things are running well on the server. Once this practice session comes to an end, we're not doing qualifying or anything like that. If you're just joining us for the first time, we'll be rolling straight into the second race of the evening, the title deciding race. And it is that tight fight between Shoma Shintani and Mark Fletcher. But as we kind of alluded to, Fletcher's kind of just got to have a clean race here. No major dramas, and and he'll be taking the title. And he's starting from 5th position as well. So it's kind of like, I feel from there, he's ahead of most of the drama.
Oh, yes, exactly. So in some ways, when you're also the lower end of the reverse grid number, obviously you get actually put high up on the grid, and therefore you gain some positions, and you potentially are going to avoid some dramas. But we know in this series, it doesn't matter where you start, you can easily get caught up in things. And we saw with Sanders actually as well. He was in that awkward sort of 4th, 5th position, and being there is actually what caught him out, and that's why he spun in that first race. So it doesn't always help, but hopefully for Mark, he can stay there, because if he gains... Basically, if he finishes ahead of Shoma, of course, Shoma's not going to be gaining points, and that's going to be good for the championship.
Yeah, indeed. Taking a look, by the way, at the points, provisional but also confusing. So again, there are 2 drop scores, 2 rounds of drop scores in this championship. But we'll just update you. Mark Fletcher is on 423 points rather. Shoma Shintani's on 382, and then Crofton Woodhatch is 322. Harvey Jones is on 313. Lewis Werrell's on 300. So Lewis Werrell could still take 3rd in the championship, by the way, especially because Werrell is taking the full points allotment here, because he's obviously not had his drop scores are 0, right? Because he's had 3 rounds where he's not been hit, so his drop scores are 0. So he is just scoring points.
Yeah, so he's going to shoot right up. So yeah, this is definitely an interesting one with how the points are working out. It's still in Mark Fletcher's favour, but what Shintani needs to do is he needs to have another solid result. So he basically removes one of those DNFs again from his result, and therefore this is 3 points. Whereas for someone like Fletcher, if his worst result was like a P7 and he gets about a P6 again, his results aren't really going to change from what he's actually going to gain. So it's all for Shintani. He's just got to go out for a win, and he's got to hope that Fletcher has some big issues. So Fletcher, keep it on the track, get a solid top 5, and you should be okay.
Yeah, and this is also this is where things get interesting with the drop scores, right? Because do you want to know a fun fact about that race? And I've noticed this a couple of times this season. This is because Shoma generally has really good race 1s and then drops a little bit in race 2. Coming into this round, there was 35 points between 1st and 2nd. So Mark Fletcher had a 35-point lead in the championship. After the round, where Shoma Shintani has won the first race, and Mark Fletcher's finished in 4th position in that race, because of how things work out, the championship's actually grown. It's gone up to 41 points rather than 35. That is confusing, and that's why drop scores are very confusing. But that's courtesy of how bad some rounds have been and how good other rounds have been. It's very, very complicated. But as much as that gap sounds large, it's probably not as large as you think once we take into drop scores in the 2nd race.
Oh, absolutely. But the important factor in this championship as well is we might have the reverse grid, but the points are identical. So it's 45 points for a win in both races. So there's still a lot of points. And of course, fastest lap as well, bonus point. You can get yourself 46 points still remaining in this championship.
Yeah, indeed. There is still plenty of time, and then that again, that's not even to account drop scores and where points can be lost, gained, and all of that confusing likes. We'll do our best to keep up to date with that. We're about to roll through into the season finale race. One final 15-minute run around the Brands Hatch Grand Prix circuit to sort out the season, and Corioline will be starting from the reverse grid pole. Sam Sanders alongside on that front row, potentially the favourite from this race, with Martin Vildt, Hans Jakob Siversen Moller, and Mark Fletcher, the champion leader, starting from 5th position. Crofton Woodhatch pretty confident in this race. He'll be starting from 6th position. He is confident to maybe work his way through and take a victory. Lewis Werrell and Shoma Shintani there in 8th. Shintani will be going full guns blazing. Joshua Begembe, Frank Sikorsky, Ollie Stone, and Harvey Jones rounding out the top 12. Jones involved in that fight for 3rd in the championship. Connor Scudau in 13th with Brandon Loudon, Jonathan Smith, Ian Joyner, and Mike Pollard. Sondre Mollett, the only driver not to take through into this race, along with actually Mark Warren. Never mind, I'll count that. There's 2 drivers who aren't in this one. 15 minutes then put onto the clock. The season finale about to get underway. the race ending part of the season for the Formula Fords. Let's see who's going to take victory. Coriolanus from pole position, not getting quite the launch we saw from the previous race with Shomi Shintani against Crofton Woodhatch. He's already being attacked by Sam Sanders in the race from turn 1. Look at that line though from Sanders straight around the outside with a much faster drive going through Paddock Hill. Sanders has taken over the race lead then. There's plenty of time in the background as Mark Fletcher is sat there behind Hans Jakob Sievers and Mollett, and Coriolanus gone out wide at turn 2.
Certainly has a bit of a side-by-side there. Martin Wilkner just has to back out of that one. So look at the up and under. It's a huge run for Sanders at the front, but who's going to be following him in towards 30s? It looks like it's going to be Martin Filk up the inside. Coriolanus going to go wide. Bit of contact between the two, and the lady's pushed off.
Yeah, this is going to open up the door. Crofton Woodhatch is going to drag himself alongside as well. Mark Fletcher might have the drive off the corner as well. Behind all this, you've got Shomi Shintani and Lewis Werrell as well. We head our way up towards the top of Hawthorns Hill. You've got Mark Fletcher on the outside, and Martin Vilk now sends it in into Hawthorns, trying to go around the outside. Crofton Woodhatch is also trying to find a way past Hans Jakob Sievers and Mollett, and 1.2 seconds. The race lead at the moment for Sam Sanders. They go back to single file heading through Westfield.
Certainly do, as we got to be seeing how this championship finishes, and Woodhatch is looking so strong at this moment in time. Up the inside is going to be now. This will turn to the outside as we go through Sterling's, and it's got to be all the way around the outside. He's going to get up into second place if he can hold on to this, so Fletcher's going to try and follow him through. They want to get Mollett out of the way, but is Fletcher going to try and do anything silly? No, he's not, because he's got Vilk on his outside.
Yeah, I mean, because Fletcher backed out of that one, that was what allowed Martin Vilk to drag himself alongside. Still the side-by-side out of the start-finish straight. 3 rows deep though. You've got Hans Jakob Sievers and Mollett. You've got Mark Fletcher making it 3 wide though on the race down towards turn 1. Wow, he's putting on a bit of a risk there, and that will be Mark Fletcher up in the second position. He's driven it in too deep though, drops 2 wheels into the gravel trap as we ride on board with Martin Vilk, who puts himself alongside Hans Jakob Sievers and Mollett. Crofton Woodhatch puts himself alongside our title leader at the moment, and it could be the move made for Woodhatch. He gets to the outside into Graham Hill, but Mark Fletcher holds firm and into second place after making it 3 wide.
Oh, these guys are getting so close. Shintani gets a run on Vilk down the inside in towards 30s. That should be a move done on the exit. Just be careful not to make contact when he does so. And that's going to allow Lewis Werrell now to get involved in this one. Look at the train of cars. Sanders is running away with it, but the battles in the background are insane. Fletcher's still trying to hold on to second.
Yeah, I mean, Fletcher's taking a defensive line here, but I think he is going to back out. Certainly does so. So Crofton Woodhatch works his way through. At the moment, Fletcher's in comfortable position, doing more than enough to take victory in this championship. The next cut driver behind him, Hans Jakob Sievers and Mollett. Then it's Shomi Shintani. Frank Sikorsky's had a bit of a moment there at the top of the hill, and you can see the orange and black car going out wide. Harvey Jones commits to the inside to try and get his way past Joshua Bagembe. Picks off the likes of Frank Sikorsky, and then picks off Bagembe as well as they head their way towards Sterling. Fantastic stuff for the Alpha Esports man.
Yeah, this is some quite insane racing here. As we go 3 wide, Stone up the inside in towards the final corner. He might be able to get Scudell with that one, but not Sikorsky as well, or Bagembe I should say, but not Sikorsky as well. They're still side by side as we come across the racing line, and oh my god, up ahead of them, we're also 3 wide with Shintani involved in that one.
Yeah, Shintani's leaving to the outside of Werrell. This is a look at Martin Vilk behind Shintani. Out wide goes Hans Jakob Sievers and Mollett, and will show me Shintani working his way through. I think there might have been contact, by the way, between Mollett and Shintani going through the final corner. Just a little bit of a brush between them, which is what opened up the door for Lewis Werrell to drag himself at least alongside Shintani. But Shintani's going to get frustrated in this race. He's seeing Mollett ahead, he's seeing Fletcher ahead, and he's seeing Crofton Woodhatch, and then 2.1 seconds up to the position he really needs to be in, because this is kind of a must-win race for Shintani.
Oh, absolutely. He, as a minimum, needs to beat Fletcher, who's now going for second place up the inside. Last lap he backed out of it. This time he's not doing so. He's up into second. Woodhatch down to third. And what an important position this could be. But Woodhatch comes back at him up the inside of Westfield. Actually, no, in the end, he decides not to do it.
Yeah, they might try this whole slipstream chaining thing up towards the top of Hawthorns Hill, where effectively they're almost intentionally switching. Again, we always use the example of a bike race, like a team time trial at the cycling, where you'll see one driver or one rider come off the front, drop to the back of the train, and they'll kind of do that all the way around because it's the fastest way to get around. It's not quite as aggressive in this, but you tend to see 2 drivers potentially switching positions to use the slipstream to try and close down on our race leader Sanders. But at the moment, that 2.1 second margin is holding firm. 10 minutes and 15 seconds left to go on the clock, and you can see Sanders there in the foreground.
Absolutely up the inside for Woodhatch. No, Fletcher defends that remarkably, actually. Able to take the racing line still. We're basically nose to tail as we come up in towards Druids. Up the inside it is going to be for Molat as he battles with Shintani around the outside for the Japanese drivers. He tries to make that to the inside of Graham Hillben. This could be a move up the inside. This is where he had a crash in the first race of the season, but he gets through there nicely, and this could be a big move as he's now going to be on the back of Woodhatch.
He's still side by side though. Shintani sends it in. Big lock up there. I think he was touching the grass with Hans Jakob Siversen Molat, and he drops back behind Lewis Werrell, and potentially even here might drop back behind Martin Vilk and Harvey Jones, who returned to, well, I was going to say return to single file, but no, Martin Vilk's getting blocked in a little bit behind Hans Jakob Siversen Molat, and that will be the move done for Harvey Jones. Straight around the outside of Molat as well. Could that be the move done for Harvey Jones? Fantastic. There's the double for him, and here comes Ollie Stone.
And this has splintered this battle, so that that pack up ahead of them for four drivers, that is very important. Jones is coming back strong after that dismal qualifying and then the spin in the first race as well. This is a lot more like the positions we expect him to be, and Molat not able to keep up with that top pack. He'll be a little bit disappointed as those four cars ahead are really pulling away.
Yeah, big margins, of course, from second through fifth versus sixth through the rest of the field, basically. 6th through 12th, let's go with that. But again, that big margin, though, the biggest of all for our race leader, really. 1.9 seconds clear. It's come down by a little bit, but it's just not coming down by the margin that it needs to. Sam Sanders could be on for a victory.
And this is good for Fletcher, to be honest, being in this battle pack, but surely he can't hold on for 8 minutes in front of these two. Look at Shintani almost pushing Woodhatch through. We saw Werrell being so opportunistic to get to second place in the previous race. I think it's going to be hard for Fletcher to hold on with the more cautious approach he's had this season, or is this finally the race where he has to do that and try to win this championship? We're side by side in the background. Bagembe, he's got Martin Vilk involved. He's got Jonathan Smith just up behind. He gets past Vilk, almost a bit of contact maybe. Vilk goes wide and Smith should come through.
I mean, that was Bagembe hitting the curve a little bit, and like, you're absolutely right, Martin Vilk goes out wide. Jonathan Smith's going to work his way back through. I think there might have been a bit of a mistake there from Sanders as the gap's dropped to 1.5 seconds now. Mark Fletcher's closed his way back in. I mean, it's a tough one. For Fletcher, this is not a must-win race, but it would be nice to take the championship whilst winning the final race, something which one Mr. Henry Moore was unable to do in 2023, of course.
It's actually less common than you think in these championships, the championship leader winning, just because of the consistency factor we mentioned. It's not just about winning every race, it's just about being there. And a second place, I'm sure he'd be happy with. At least we get to speak to him in the interview room. But they are chasing down Sanders. Still 7 minutes, so half of the race, and Woodhatch is looking strong. He's looking confident as well, and he's back for revenge after missing out on the victory in the first race.
Yeah, indeed. Looks to the outside on Mark Fletcher, who defends down into the first corner. Could be the up and under here for Crofton. Woodhatch sees Sanders in the distance, and still halfway through this race. There's still plenty of time for them to close in, but for Woodhatch, he's got Shintani there. I mean, for Fletcher, I think that's kind of why he'll want to keep Woodhatch at bay. I don't know if he's that bothered about winning this race. Of course, he'd love to, but it's more about keeping a buffer between himself and Shintani. That's the more important bit, and effectively using Woodhatch as a shield here.
Absolutely. So if they finish, it's 12 points, 15. I'm just trying to work out. For this round, he would only lose 3 points total to Shintani if it finishes like it is, as Woodhatch did a bit of a bump draft as we come down the straight up towards Hawthorne. So I don't know if maybe he's trying to avoid overtaking at this moment in time as they try and catch down the leaders up ahead, side by side with Stone and Mullet going side by side. In the background, though, who's not going side by side is Sikorsky as he's sent off the road. Yeah,
that was a big one for Sikorsky into the barrier. We saw Sondre Mollett out there, and it'll be a first retirement from the season finale here for Franek Sikorsky. Out of the race he goes, as we'll keep an eye on this battle between Hans Jakob Siversen Mollett and Ollie Stone. Joshua Bagembe trying to drag along Martin Vilk to pull them into this fight. 5 minutes and 50 seconds left to go in the race. And realistically, if there's no mistakes, Sanders will win this race. But that's easier said than done round here. It was contact then between Smith and Sikorsky, and that was what sent Sikorsky into the barrier. Again, race control will take a look at any of those incidents, but at the moment, I don't think you sat at home, probably race control as well, can't take your eyes off this battle here, the one between Fletcher and Woodhatch.
I'll tell you what though, Woodhatch is biding his time. He's not going for this move just yet. I think they are trying to catch up to Sanders. And in the background, we're still going side by side actually. Is that Mollett and Stone continuing their battle for 7th position? Looks like Mollett might have just been able to get ahead in that battle. Stone down to 8th place.
Yeah, Ollie Stone with all his boxes down to 8th position, but still we'll be embroiled in this fight with Hans Jakob Stephenson Mollett, who of course was one of the drivers. He finished within within a second. We'll call it was just over half a second off the race. He was a part of that top 5 fight in the previous race, and definitely would like to show that once more. But sometimes the reverse grids has lacked that aggression and the consistency that we've seen. The gap's 1.3 seconds for the race lead going top to bottom. Of course, the top fight is that one for 2nd position. The one behind is Joshua Bagembe, Martin Phil, Ian Joyner, Jonathan Smith and Mikey Pollard in the fight for 9th position towards the back end of the top 10.
These are some great battle packs we've got in the final race of the season. Remember, the final opportunity to get points on the board for your championship position. Of course, really the champion is always the one that we're focused on, but for those drivers trying to finish inside the top, maybe the top 7, top 8 in the championship, these are important positions as well, and I'm sure the matter of pride is coming to them as we get towards the final 4 minutes of the season. It is getting closer at the front though. Fletcher's gained a couple of tenths on that lap. They're getting dangerously close to that 1 second mark.
Yeah, it's closing in, and like I say, once it gets under about a second, once it, particularly close to 7/10 of a second, that gap will go in the click of a finger. You heard Shintani talking about how aggressive the slipstream was around here, and that's maybe why, as much as you say Crofton Woodhatch has been patient on the back end of Mark Fletcher, I wonder if Shintani's been particularly patient behind Crofton Woodhatch as well to allow that gap to close its way back down. No one's being patient in this battle. Joshua Bagembe, Martin Vilt going side by side as we head round and back onto the Grand Prix loop for the 3rd to last time in this race.
A bit of defense from Fletcher, but Woodhatch, he's still not really going for it. I think he's still trying to, and I think Shintani as well, they're both trying to catch up to Sanders effectively. This is such an awesome battle to see these guys. They're being very aggressive in race 1. They're being a lot more calm and collected in this race 2. And don't forget, Lewis Werrell on the back of that. He's got nothing to lose. He said he doesn't want to get involved in the championship, but surely if they catch up to Sanders, he's going to be trying to find a way through onto the podium.
Yeah, he'll want a victory to end out the season. I mean, they all want a victory to end out the season. This is the last race, the final one of 16 of a long journey that's taken them to this point out through the final corner. I mean, Sanders has not won a race this season. In fact, of that top group, Sanders, Fletcher, Woodhatch, Shintani, Werrell, Sanders is the only one yet to take a victory in 2024. Fletcher obviously has 3, Woodhatch has 2, Shintani has 7. Werrell's got a couple to his name as well. I mean, this is a tough one. It's a tall order.
But he deserves it, does Sanders. He's been so fast. We've spoken to him many times in the interview room, getting those podiums. But can he go another place better and get the win? He's already defending to the inside. You're right, Lewis. That 0.7 marker, that's where we are now. Half a second gone in the last lap and a bit. And now he's looking in his mirrors and he's going to have the alarms going off in his brain of don't make a mistake with 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, he's driving off the racing line here to try and break the slipstream, to almost try and encourage something to happen behind. But Woodhatch is being very, very patient, and Fletcher's looking for the slipstream. This is going to be a thrilling final lap here, so strap yourselves in. We've got, 1 1/3 laps left to go in this race. There is not long left to go before we'll potentially at this rate be crowning Mark Fletcher as the 2024 champion. But who's taking this final victory? 90 seconds left to go on the timer. The final lap is about ready to begin. Sam Sanders is about to cross over the start-finish line to take the white flag. Fletcher behind, Woodhatch, Shintani and Werrell. One of those drivers likely to take victory. They'll crash themselves out. Harvey Jones might come through. There's Fletcher out wide, and here comes Woodhatch.
He's already smiling as they came to the exit of the corner. He knows he's going to have this position. A little bit of slipstream as well. Across the line, he's going to go up into 2nd place. Shintani's going to send it down the inside as well. Fletcher needs to be careful here not to lose the points, and he backs out of it. He loses 2 places with that mistake.
Yeah, that's not too bad though. He's got Lewis Werrell directly behind to defend that one a little bit, but Lewis Werrell's going to look to the outside, so he still remains behind his championship rival. 40 seconds left to go. And of course, onto that final lap, so we're ticking off those final few corners. Graham Hill, as Sanders throws it in as hard as he can. He knows this victory is his for the taking, but he's being caught hand over fist by the group behind me. Head back out onto the Grand Prix loop for what is arguably the best overtaking opportunity for Crofton Woodhatch. And Sanders has made a mistake. This could be the move. Woodhatch is going to drag himself alongside, but can he find the move?
To the outside is going to be at Hawthorns. It's a big send. It's a big overspeed. Surely Sanders has to back out of it. No, he doesn't. They go side by side. Can they give each other space? Shintani is waiting in the wings to try and find a way through as well.
And he gives a bit of a bomb drop as well to Sanders. He's going to throw it in very deep into Westfield Bend. Crofton Woodhatch goes out wide. Sanders will retake over the race lead. And Shoma Shintani will get his way past Crofton Woodhatch. Here comes Mark Fletcher as well, who makes contact with the back of Shintani. Oh, at Sterling's, that's Crofton Woodhatch who's gone off the road. Sanders is doing everything he can to take over this victory as Crofton Woodhatch and Mark Fletcher go side by side. Big defensive line coming down the final stretch into the final corner as Shoma Shintani will have a drag race with Sanders out of the final turn, and it's going to be Shoma Shintani potentially. He's got a better run here. Oh, there's contact between the pair of them, and there's going to be a massively controversial finish there, and Sam Sanders will take the final race victory of the season on the line by 200th of a second over Shoma Shintani. Crofton Woodhatch will be fuming in the interview afterwards after a little bit of contact there between himself and between himself and Sam Sanders as well. But Mark Fletcher, the 111, he came into it as the favourite with the points gap, and he will leave it. Cameron, Roger, as far as our numbers run, as far as the provisional standings are, as our series champion, congratulations to Mark Fletcher, very much deservedly so.
I've been trying to do the maths along the day. I think it is going to be close in the end. We'll wait for the results to be confirmed. But for what it looks like, Fletcher is the champion, and what a deserved drive over the course of the season. He was consistent, and again, in that fight, he knew when to pick his battles, and he took another 4th place finish in as many races. So what a finish to the season. He was there when he needed to, but Sanders ticking off that victory. That's big congratulations for him.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, look, I will say for Sam Sanders, we'll look at the provisional race results. Could have a little chat with race control. There was contact between himself and Shoma Shintani on the run towards the line there as Sanders was moving left and over into him. But again, we'll talk to Sanders in a few moments' time. Crofton Woodhatch into 3rd position. Mark Fletcher into 4th. And a bit of a shout out to Fletcher. If you are watching onto this, I'll probably send a message anyway, but please feel free to jump in for an interview. Lewis Werrell will be in 5th position. Harvey Jones in 6th. Ollie Stone in 7th. Hans Jakob Siversen Molla in 8th position with Martin Vilk and Mikey Pollard there inside the top 10. Jonathan Smith, Ian Joyner with Corey Aline, Brandon Loudon, Joshua Bagembe, Connor Skidell. The final finishes the race with Franek Sikorsky being sent off into the barrier after that contact with Jonathan Smith running in onto the Grand Prix loop, of course, at Hawthorns. Right, we've got a few interviews to get through, so let's start our way as we'll see a little bit of a look at this controversial moment. You've got Shoma Shintani getting to the outside of Sam Sanders, and there was contact between the pair of them right at this point. He got onto the grass and then kicked him out sideways into the side of Shoma Shintani. Let's hear it from the man himself, though, as Sam Sanders joins us here in the commentary booth after a victory in the race. Congratulations. Let's talk about that run towards the line. Let's get the elephant in the room out of the way. Contact between yourself and Shoma Shintani. What happened in that one?
Yeah, I just apologise to Shoma. A bit of a rush of blood there, I think, given the race before that. I just saw he was coming up to the line really close, and I wanted to kind of make it as close as I could, so that I wasn't giving away the draft, but I just misjudged it and bumped into the side of him. So not really how I want to win that one, so I've apologised to him and take the one on the chin.
But how relieving is it to, you're a race winner now. How relieving is that to finally take one? I mean, that's it's been a long season, and the last race of it, you take it by 200ths of a second. Yeah,
that was from the start. I was super pleased with the move on the first corner, and then I was just praying that I could do enough. But with everyone in the slipstream towing each other, it was just impossible to kind of keep it. And I made one small mistake, and from that point, they just had the little bit of tow on me, and so I was just super stressed all the way through the race. And then I think it got to the last lap, and I made another mistake onto the back straight. It was just super tight, but really relieved to have at least got one on the road.
Well, Sam, the biggest of big congratulations to you. An excellent season. Very nice to end it with a victory as well. Maybe we'll see you in 2025 somewhere. Who knows?
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Thanks to the broadcast as well, and for everyone who's tuned in to watch me. It's been great to have all the support.
There we go then. Obviously, Sam Sanders out of the commentary booth for the last time this season. And then into it, let's drag our way in Shoma Shintani, who was involved in an excellent fight in the championship, but 200 short of race victory there in that. It was an excellent race up towards the line, though. But what do you make of that one, Shoma?
Yeah, thank you. Top season. I have one of fastest pace of the season, include today, but I made too many mistakes. So yeah, that's why I'm off P2.
I mean, it's such a tight margin between you and Mark, just 10 points separating you over the season. You have, like you said, you were the fastest of the season. That's clear. You have the most race victories of anyone, such a high amount of podiums as well. You know, what will you be working on going into future seasons of racing, and what have you learnt from this season? Is it just learning consistency, and is that a race-to-race thing, or is that something that you can work on a lap-to-lap thing?
Yeah, I mean, I made different mistakes on every round. So I reanalyze all mistakes, and I'm gonna fix them before next year.
Well, Shoma, thank you so much for an excellent season. Thank you for showing yourself well, and thank you for putting on quite a show for us. It's been an excellent run. Second in the championship, second in the final race of the season. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, thank you.
And so Shoma Shintani exits the interview booth as well. And we'll drag in a Crofton Woodhatch, who was a bit disappointed after the first race. I'm pretty sure after a little bit of contact there as well, might not be particularly pleased with how things ended on that last lap as well. But third in the championship, 356 points to your name. At least that's a positive thing to end the season on.
Yeah, it was nice to get third in the end. A little bit of a mess on the last lap, but it is what it is. Just yeah, we did well to catch up to Sam, and then it gave me the chance to go for it. Mark made a little bit of mistake coming onto that last lap, and then I just had to try and go after Sam. But no, it's a positive result, kind of, after how most of the season's gone, to be honest.
Obviously, the last couple of rounds, especially that big turning point at Donington Park, and after we came back after a little bit of a break, you seemed to turn things around in the second half of the season. Your second half of the season versus your first half of the season, completely different. What was the turning point for you?
Wasn't really much in it, to be honest. I guess I just was able to stay out of the incidents a little bit more. The pace has always been there to be on the podium pretty much every race. Just sometimes you just make a couple of mistakes on a day and then get involved in an accident, and that's it, done. But no, everyone's had their fair share of low point rounds apart from Mark, pretty much. And Mark, obviously, deserving winner. He's done well all season and stayed at the front and been consistent. So yeah.
Well, congratulations on third position in the championship. Congratulations on the double victory and then a double podium to follow it as well. It's been a great run for the final few rounds for you, Crofton. And yeah, we'll be looking forward to seeing what we see from you next.
Thank you.
There we go, Crofton Woodhatch, third in the final race of the season. And one final driver to talk to. I said we might have a little chat with him. Mr. I can't qualify that well. It's all right in the final round. It's fine. It is our series champion, Mark Fletcher. What a round. What a season. I mean, Mr. Consistency all the way through. You may not have been the fastest all the way through, but you were the most consistent, and that is why you come into here as the champion. How does that feel?
Unbelievable. I tell you what a last round that was. They didn't make it easy, did they?
No. It was tough. How did you play those final couple of races? Of course, you know, you had a lot to juggle there. The points gap with Shoma, and also being so complicated with the double drop rounds and stuff. Were you just thinking, look, I've got to keep this car on the road, I need a double top 5? Was that always the goal coming into it, or where were you aiming?
Yeah, my thought there was just stay somewhere near Shoma. There wasn't a massive gap. Well, it was different because obviously the drop scores and everything like that. But yeah, it was play it safe and just stay out of trouble.
I mean, again, it has been an incredible season for you, Mark. I am glad to at least have a quick word with you before we jump over to the British F4s. Congratulations on the championship, and yeah, fantastic stuff.
Yeah, it was class, and yeah, thank you guys for broadcasting it. Honestly, it's been a fantastic season, and yeah, thank you to Jack Jeffries for spotting for me all year, and yeah, thank you to Crofton in that last one, who obviously wanted me to get up behind Sam. What he didn't know was I was shaking, so I couldn't drive any faster.
Thank you, Mark. Our Formula 4 champion, Mark Fletcher. I mean, he did it in the final race there, Cam. Incredible stuff, an incredible final round. And again, this is building up towards that season finale in the British F4s.
Yeah, what a track this is to finish any season, and the Formula Fords are just so good. So congratulations again to Mark, really deserving champion. Just 10 points in the end. So Shoma, even with that win, would have just been short of it as well. But what a season between the pair of them.
Yes, indeed. Now, myself, Cam, we're going to have a little quick swig of water. Do not go anywhere. Up after this, it's the season finale for the British Formula 4 Esports Championship.
Need expert support for your sim racing setup? SimRig Support has you covered. With over 2,000 hours of experience, our team excels in diagnosing and resolving issues swiftly. Submit a ticket for remote help, send us your hardware with a prepaid label, or book an on-site visit. We handle all major brands, from wheel to PC problems. Trust SimRig Support to keep you racing.
And this is it. End of the road, ladies and gentlemen. We are back in West Kingstown in Kent, ready for the season finale here at Brands Hatch of the British Formula 4 Esports Championship. Hello, everyone. Welcome along. Lewis McGlade, Cameron Roger in the comedy booth, Hugo Luis bringing us the broadcast. And with qualifying moments away, we are ready for the season finale. So much to talk about before we get into the action, so feel free to try and keep up. But let's go through it then. Qualifying about to get underway, where they'll be given the circuit to themselves. 4 laps over that before we get into the first of 2 20-minute races, the second of which features that reverse grid for the final race of the season. That is going to be absolute chaos. I cannot wait. Let's talk about what they're battling for in the championships. Of course, the drivers, they have it's an official British championship. They get invited to attend to the Night of Champions. Luke McEwen, of course, have done that a couple of times over the previous 2 seasons. The British F4 Esports Championship. We have someone new do that at the end of tonight. The teams championships, though, the top 3 in the teams receiving their respective prizes, including the 2025 Club 100 experience, and then, of course, the hospitality tickets and a full day in the base performance simulator in Banbury, which is fantastic. Talked to a lot of teams about that after the end of last season. The rest of the housekeeping, though, that we need to touch on, let's talk about the calendar. We are here back in West Kingstown at Brands Hatch, run the Grand Prix layout, not the Indy layout, which is where, of course, we started the season when Guild looked so strong in the teams championship. We're ending this final 3-race run, Knockhill, Donington Park and Brands Hatch to round out the season. Of course, we've been to Brands Indy, we've been to Zandvoort and the likes before that. Championship wise, it is a 36-point championship lead for Graham Carroll over Henry Moore, and Henry Moore has an exclusion from qualifying after an incident at the old hairpin in the previous round. We'll talk about that in a moment. Remy Gilbert will be in 3rd position in the championship, just ahead of his teammate Leo Brown. Matt Caruana 10 points off of Leo Brown. No drop scores to talk about in this one, so there's all to fight for. Will Chadwick, Joseph Loke, Yoni Catala Elias Riker and Gergo Bowdy rounding out the top 10. Let's talk Teams Championship, though, where things are very, very interesting indeed. Guild have a very, very small margin. Guild Esports ahead of the Scuderia Ferrari HP Esports team. They are very, very tight indeed. Mensa and Aston Martin also very tight for the final position inside that top 3, and of course where the prizes are dished out. Guild Academy, that of course is Henry Moore by himself on 404 points. Got G2 up there, you got Williams, who's had a bit of a turnaround since they got Moreno Sharika behind the wheel, BS Competition, Freem, and the Williams Esports Academy team, the final position inside the top 10. We're in qualifying though, and already beginning the first laps of the session. I've run through that as quickly as possible. Cam, we're seeing Graham Carroll, our championship leader, driving around. We will not be seeing Henry Moore in this qualifying session, courtesy of that incident. It was an unsafe rejoin that we saw after that incident with himself and Gergo Bowdy, and that was what means that Henry Moore will not be taking part in this qualifying session.
Yeah, big news, big news. So that's 2 races in a row, basically, because Henry Moore, of course, had the penalty back at Donington as well. So his championship is turning on its head as we get there. He went from having a very comfortable lead coming into the final round of the season to now being 36 points behind. Yes, there are still 92 up for grabs, but we know how consistent Graham Carroll is.
Yeah, I mean, look, Graham Carroll has been brutally consistent all the way through the season, but I have a little bit of a chat with Henry before this, wishing him good luck, same with Graham, but I will say, this is going to be a tight championship fight. It's been excellent throughout the season, but realistically, one mistake from Graham Carroll and it could be over for him, and that's the thing, is that this championship, there is no drop scores in this. It is, all 16 races, all the points being dished out. It is not an easy one to go and win this championship. Leo Brown then taking the first lap onto the session, but a Graham Carroll will go up to a 21.7. That is a quick lap time, to be perfectly honest. The top of practice was a 21.4. Guess who topped it? Yeah, it was Henry Moore.
Yes, he's going to be very quick, but unable to, of course, set the laps today. And, of course, there's a few other penalties inbound as well. Here's Remy Gilbert. Of course, Gil going for the team's constructors title as well. They are just short, as you're mentioning, of Ferrari. So it's going to be a great one as Gilbert goes up to the top.
Yeah, as much as I've just touched on Henry Moore there, he's not the only one with an exclusion from qualifying. Alexander Spetz also has one. Joseph Loke also has one. Pablo Espes has an exclusion from qualifying. And Will Chadwick's got the double whammy. He's not only got an exclusion from qualifying, he'll be starting from the back of the grid in race 2 as well this evening. So it's going to be a tough one for Will Chadwick to maybe take a victory this evening, but we'll have to wait and see. Remy Gilbert, right say, at the top of the session. We're looking at Matt Caruana involved in that tight fight for third in the championship in the teams. Could meant to be able to do it.
Yes, that will be a big one. Of course, there's some more laps in. Gergo Bowdy up into 3rd place. That's big for Ferrari on that 2nd row of the grid, as we see Graham Carroll come across the line as well. Oh, that's going to be pole position for Graham Carroll in the 21 machine as it stands.
Yeah, indeed. But like I say, as it stands, again, just a quick reminder of this session. They're all driving around by themselves. They have 4 laps to do in this session. So that's the dealio there. As soon as they've gone past 4 laps, their laps are no longer counted, so you only get 4 onto the board, and you've got to make those count around here, and it is an easy track to exceed track limits on, as we'll see Matt Caruana once again driving around. It's going to be, I think this is going to be a tight qualifying session, though. I will say that, I'm expecting only a couple of hundreds between the top few, like what we have here.
Yeah, this is so tight indeed. As we were mentioning in the Formula Fords, it's such a momentum-based track. Not many real braking zones, especially not very many slow corners. Just Druids really around this track. So that's why the lap times are so close. You don't really lose that much time in fast corners. It's in the slow speed stuff, getting in and out, getting on the throttle, where the difference between the drivers is more key. And of course, you have fixed setups this season as well. So all the drivers driving the exact same thing. It's all about how much they can get out of the car.
I want to touch very quickly on the team's championship. Of course, the battle for the championship lead being between Ferrari and being between Guild. Of course, Ferrari, Graham Carroll up there in 1st position, Gergo Bowdy up there in 4th position. For Guild, Remy Gilbert in 2nd, Leo Brown in 7th. Very, very tight. For 3rd in the championship, though, that battle between Mensa and Aston Martin. Well, Mensa, we've got Matt Caruana, who's just moved up on the provisional pole position. You've got Ronnie Smith inside the top 10. For Aston Martin this evening, Joseph Loke also starting from the back of the grid. Manuel Biancalilla in 11th. So things are looking very good. The Mentor driven by us car as well. Take a little look at the number 69 of Moreno Sarica, who's had an excellent run of top 5s, by the way. If you had a little look at that on these stats coming into this.
Yeah, he's sort of turning his season around. Well, Williams in general, they've been a lot better in the last few rounds. So finally getting a grips to this car. Of course, they were up there to the front fighting Apex last season. But unfortunately, just falling short in that regard. But this season, what can they do? That's a bit better for Sarica. Is he going to jump up just a little bit? Yes, he is. Just one place into P5. And he's really within a shout for the top 5, at least in this qualifying session.
Whoa, I can't speak. Easy for some to say. Do remember that Moreno Sarica missed the first 3 rounds of the season. Back on board then with Graham Carroll on his final timed lap of this session. The previous lap he slowed down around this point just to make sure his tyres were in the operating window, and we're into the final couple of corners for our championship leader. Could he be able to take pole position? If he does, I mean, he's going to be very much in the pound seat to take the championship after the first race of running here, and 15 races complete in this 16-race season. Ronnie Smith moves up into 6th position. What can Graham Carroll do? Will it be enough? You can see he's happy. I think this is pole position as he crosses the line. It's a 21.6. Oh, he's not happy enough. It'll be 2nd place for Graham Carroll at the moment in the session. That's as good as it's going to get for him.
Isaac Price to the top for G2. What a position that is going to be. They've actually been coming quite good as well themselves with his teammate Yanni Kettler down in P10. But what a time that is for Isaac Price to run on board with him just shortly, warming up the tyres. And with 2 minutes to go, he hits the front.
I mean, I will say for Isaac Price, what is he running in 4th position when he? No, he's actually running the podium, wasn't he? When he had that internet issue back in Donington Park, that was causing him to lag in front of Graham Carroll. Graham Carroll eventually got through and ended up taking the victory in that race, to be perfectly honest. But Isaac Price was running well. He has run quite well throughout this season. Here is a driver who definitely has run well quite a few times this season. Of course, we've got Remy Gilbert, who sits 3rd in the championship, has a victory this season at Knockhill. Could he be taking another one in the season finale? A 6.46 is good enough to move him up into 3rd position ahead of Graham Carroll.
Graham Carroll was looking so happy on his lap. He's not even going to be maybe on the 2nd row if someone else could try and just pip him as we get to the final couple of seconds of the session. Lafaro out of the final corner, half a second off as it stands. He needs to improve a 10.5 even just to get 1 position up ahead of Yanni Kettler in the 40 machine up ahead of him. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 0.9. That's going to be a bit of an improvement. Actually, can he get Kettler that one? No, just a couple of hundred short.
Indeed, again, very excitingly close in this qualifying session. We're expecting it to be close towards the top. Anyone else able to throw their way into this? Of course, we've got those 5 drivers who'll be starting from the back. They're not taking part in this qualifying session. They're just going to be staring at this one unfold ahead of them. I think for Henry Moore, he'll be sat there thinking, yeah, okay, I'm okay that he's not on pole. Graham Carroll's not on pole. He's in the mid pack, but he's got his teammate up there for assistance. Isaac Price. So you would have expected to be on pole position coming into this round? My goodness, what a mega lap for Price.
And also they could get P5 in the team's championship depending on what Henry Moore does. His sole entry of the Guild Academy is P5. What is that? 29 points ahead of G2. But of course G2 have 2 drivers scoring for so they might be able to get up into top 5 as well. So this is looking a lot stronger. Let's hope his internet holds up.
Let's hope so. Someone whose internet is not holding up is team boss of Guild Esports, Seb Hawkins, who's been dropping in and out of the session, trying to keep an eye as to what's happening with his team. Of course, Remy Gilbert, Leo Brown qualified in 3rd position and in 8th. Let's talk you through, though, the starting grid. Isaac Price shot pole position in the final race of the season. Matt Caruana, 5,000 a 2nd behind. Remy Gilbert in 3rd, with Graham Carroll, the champion leader, in 4th. Needs to keep his nose clean in this race, and he'll be able to take the championship, maybe even a race early. Gogo Baldi in 5th, but of course they're fighting for the team's championship. Moreno Sarica in 6th position. Ronnie Smith in 7th, battling for 3rd in the team's championship alongside Leo Brown. Will Murdoch in 9th, with Yanni Kettler, as Cam was saying there, for G2, battling for the top 5 in the standings. Giuseppe Lafaro and Elias Riker there rounding out the top 12, with Manuel Biancalilla returning to the championship for the Aston Martin team. Samuele Villa in 14th position, with Joel Hole and Sergio Fitzpatrick at that fantastic round north of the border. Satchulek will be starting from 17th alongside his teammate Kulik in an all Alpine row number 9. Olivia Hayward in 19th position, with Alexander Spetz, the first of the drivers excluded from qualifying courtesy of reaching to the instant point. Pablo Espez, Will Chadwick, Henry Moore and Joseph Loke, the 24 car grid. Cameron Roger, we've got not long, but we've got some time to talk here, got some time to breathe. Who's winning the penultimate race of the season. Who's taking the top spot in this one?
I think Matt Caruana, this first race, Matt Caruana. And also, I've been doing the maths just to let you know, if Carroll finishes in 4th, Moore needs to get up to P7 to keep it going to the final race.
There we go. Camel. Well, to be fair, Cam will try and keep us up to date on that one, to be fair. I'm pretty sure we'll be running some graphics and stuff, trying to keep you in the loop. Remind everyone as to what you get for a race. But well, we'll do that in a second, actually. 20 minutes left to go of this first race of the season, as the green flag will be waved. Let's get things underway. The final round is go here. Isaac Price with a terrible start. Matt Caruana with an excellent one there from the front row of the grid as he drags himself alongside, gets to the outside, and the Mensa driver hits the front of the field ahead of Isaac Price. Remy Gilbert still able to hang on a 3rd position as you've got the 2 Ferraris in behind. I'm sure Gogo Bound to be running as a rear gunner here. Moreno Sarica, though, instantly trying to get to the outside as they run their way through to it. Down then into Graham Hill Bend with Sarica on the inside line. There's already a big crash behind all this, though. We'll update you as to what's happened to that. I think it's Pablo Estes and Will Chadwick that have had a bit of a battle towards the rear of the field.
3 wide up the inside is going to be for Ronnie Smith. That is tight as Leo Brown is on the outside of a 3 wide situation. Sarica in the middle. They somehow escape that as they come down the back straight for the first time of asking. That lets the Ferrari cars off the hook just a little bit, but Brown is going to come out in top of that in P6.
Yeah, indeed. Again, incredibly close here as we head out onto the Grand Prix loop. Elias Riker and Yoni Kattler switching positions here. GT versus BS competition. Defensive line coming in from Sergio Fitzpatrick behind all that, just trying to keep Stachelek at bay. Yoni Kattler going to drop back here behind Manuel Bianca-Lilla, who's been able to get through for the Aston Martin team as we head our way to the exit of the Grand Prix loop as we go towards Sterling's now. Bianca-Lilla then 12th position as a couple of switches behind all this. Henry Moore only up to 21st, which has not really made any progress here as Alexander Spetz has got to 17th.
Yes, indeed. What a first lap there. Remaining quite calm for most, but still, of course, 2 races to go in this season. Everyone is going to be pushing towards the front. That is very aggressive from Remy Gilbert in that 3rd place as he doesn't want to let the lead go in the background with 3 wide as Smith has got through Murdoch and Sarica up into P7.
Yeah, indeed. I said Moreno Sarica has actually been really, really good this season. He obviously joined a little bit later on after missing the first 3 rounds of the season, retired from the first race, and his return to the championship was always a bit concerning, and then had a good streak of top 5s before losing that streak at the previous race of the season, but looking to try and muster his way back up into it. Obviously, 9th at the moment is not so great. Behind Will Murdoch now, and staring at the back of Ronnie Smith as well, who's battling for big things for Mensa. Can he keep Will Murdoch and Moreno Sarica at bay? Again, Mensa's main focus will be on the position of where Aston Martin are in this race. That's really the main goal for Ronnie Smith, keep Aston Martin at bay.
Indeed, and of course he's already won a race this season with a penalty, finished P2 on the road. Then there was a penalty for, I think it was Chadwick ahead on that day. He was fighting for the lead in Knock Hill as well. He knows how to run at the front in this series. And here is Henry Moore, P19. He needs to get with Carroll in P4. He needs to get to P7. Let's see if he can continue this battle up another 12 places.
Look, he's a smart kid though, who will have come into this expecting that the championship's not going to go his way. You know, and that he needs some outside assistance. He needs Graham Carroll to have a really, really bad round here. And so in that, it's just kind of like, just go out there, carte blanche, go and enjoy it. You know, go and get what you can get. And at the moment, he's staring at the back of the Aston Martin of Joseph Loke, who, this is the problem, when so many drivers have the exclusion from qualifying, you're starting around a load of really quick drivers at the back.
Yeah, and that's going to make it even more difficult. And also, just to reiterate, that is to keep it into the final race as we're going up the inside there for Sarica. Gets up the inside of Murdoch. So Moore would then still need to win the race with Carroll DNFing at the final race. So he's really on the back foot. He ultimately needs to win this race if possible. Here's going to be the contact with Chadwick there. And, of course, the number 11 machine of Espes getting pushed out.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, it was indeed the contact between the pair of those. And the Williams Esports Academy driver sent out towards the barrier. Ooh, that was a big look coming in from Riker on Giuseppe Lafaro to get inside the final position inside the top 10. That was really close on the Aztec grid finder car. Just trying to make that move, but at the moment, Elias Riker has to hang on to 11th. Another one of our race wins. There's quite a few race wins. I think it's 8, isn't it, this season?
Yeah, it's been very diverse in that regard. Of course, the big reverse grids do help that in many ways, as we are not spreading out too much up towards the front. It is a top 6 battle. That is Lewis's favourite number in this championship. Yeah, 6-car battle. It seems to end quite well, but they have pulled away Smith, not able to keep up with Leo Brown.
Yep, indeed. And you can see their team's championship at the moment. Guild Esports would have a 17-point lead over Scuderia Ferrari. Interestingly enough, they came into this round with a 17-point lead. Somehow they are scoring the same point. I say somehow. I mean, look at them there. There's a Guild, then a Ferrari, then a Ferrari, then a Guild. That's how it works.
Yeah, gaining a point on each other. 3 wide. Oh my God, we've seen this before. Are they going to make it? Joseph Loke round the outside. 2 cars on his inside. That is so tough. He's trying to make some positions. That's the same as Henry Moore as well, your championship contender. He doesn't want to be taken out in an overtaking maneuver like this, but can Loke complete that up the inside for a double move into Hawthorns? He's going to have the bravery and he's going to get it done.
We say double move. It was actually Henry Moore who made it 3 wide and all that. Joseph Loke was just trying to get past Villa, who's sending one straight back to the inside on Henry Moore, who, of course, remains behind Joseph Loke as he was at the start of the lap to the outside. Henry Moore is going to go on Villa. That's a brilliant little look and a brilliant little move. So up to 18th position, so up to 17th then for Joseph Loke. I mean, their chances are that they're going to be gaining decently here, but like you say, at the moment, with the points as they stand, Graham Carroll is in position to become the 2024 British Formula 4 Esports champion.
Yeah, Carroll just needs to keep it on the road at this point. So it's 46 points is the maximum per race. So that 46 number is what we're looking for. Then again, that will leave a lot of work for Moore to do in the next race. So he needs to be gaining on Carroll, not even just damage limitation, which is what we're looking at this moment in time. In the background, Riker's got past Murdoch. That's some teammate action there as the 89 goes up into 9th place.
Yep, indeed. So Riker making the move and staring at the back now of Ronnie Smith, who's not had quite the pace as the likes of Moreno Sarica, who's got in the 7th position and has checked out from this group. 2.8 seconds off the race lead, though, not a part of that top 6 fight, which we can see with Caruana, Price, Gilbert, Carroll, Baldy, and of course Leo Brown. So Sarica's probably going to have a pretty calm run until the top group battle, at which point I'd say Moreno Sarica is probably going to close his way onto it, to be honest.
Yes, Sarica definitely very fast. So Smith does not have the pace, and that is quite obvious. I mean, we're talking probably half a tenth a lap, but it's so crucial in this championship. You saw how close the qualifying is. You can basically just not bridge that gap. Sarica can, but unfortunately Smith cannot as we come to 13 minutes to go. Riker is looking fast though. He's going to make a move down towards Druids.
Yeah, he's going to look to the outside though, going down to T1 is Riker trying to get past Ronnie Smith, going for the up and under here. As he'll try and make the move, gets the inside of Druids as you were kind of alluding to, and that's going to be Riker sending it down the inside. And it's going to have to mean that Ronnie Smith's going to have to drop back in behind at the moment as they'll have to fend off the position. There is a bit of front wing damage there on Ronnie Smith. I don't know if that's just come in.
Oh, that might be actually why. I wonder if that's early on in the race. That's why he slightly struggled. And it's not much, really. I mean, he's not that slow, but it's just enough that he can't keep up with that train ahead. As there's Ronnie Smith. Oh, he's already got his Christmas tree up in the background. Still got a month to go from that. He's signalling he's not going to overtake there as he tries to obviously catch up to the back of Sarica ahead. But let's just see maybe a little bit of understeer there. It's Murdoch down the inside. It's not quite.
Look, I will say about the Christmas tree. I think it was Owen Carroll in the season finale of the IMSA Esports Championship last year. I think that was in November, and he had his Christmas tree up. And I was going to berate him about it, but I was like, nah, it's November. It's the end. It's the end of November. It's nearly December. I will allow a Christmas tree at this point. It's absolutely fine. It does irritate me a little bit, but that's fine.
Well, the 1st of December is my limit, and that's in a couple of days' time. So we'll give him that one for the bit of entertainment for the final race of the season. And let's see what Will Murdoch can do. To the outside, he's going to go. He's going to copy what his teammate did. He had a textbook move just in front of him. He's going to do the up and under. And the inside of Druids is really where you want to make the overtake around this track. Smith defends to the inside, but a hard move from Murdoch. Side by side they go. Riker's almost trying to get out of the way of these guys, but Murdoch with a forceful move just gets his nose ahead. Ronnie Smith isn't going to back out of this one, up the inside of Graham Hill, and he remains side by side.
Oh my God, it's such a good fight though, isn't it? Ronnie Smith's got the inside run on Will Murdoch, but like I say, there seems to be a bit of struggles coming in from Ronnie Smith. Mostly that will be down to the front wing. Doesn't look like it's too much, but these cars do have a fair amount of aero dependency as Ronnie Smith will squeeze Will Murdoch there as we head towards the kink, now rising up towards the top of Hawthorns Hill. Giuseppe Lafaro was looking to try and work his way through and all that one. Yanni Cattler says Fitzpatrick also not too far behind. Did see that Joseph Lopes dropped back in all this. So I wonder if there's been a bit of a problem for him. Manuel Bianca Lilla going side by side with Yanni Cattler now.
Yeah, he tried this on the previous lap, wasn't able to make it work that time around. He gets his Aston Martin up into 12th place. And remember, for the team's championship, that's quite an important one with Ronnie Smith, his rival there, just a couple of positions ahead now. And of course, what's happened here? One of the 3M UK cars has gone around, and we've also got Hayward involved.
Yeah, indeed. Unfortunately, a bit of a problem there. That would have been Joel Hull, because, of course, Will Chadwick's already out of this race. Fastest laps come in recently for Moreno Sirica as he tries to close his way back in on all of this. Matt Caruana trying to pull his way out. Let's see what happened there. Oh, try and pick your way through that one.
Yeah, up the inside. Oh, so Hull was on the inside there of the number 20. That's Kulik. And of course, Hayward just nowhere to go. Did the pair make contact, actually? I mean, this was, that's a late send up the inside into Sheens, which is not really a braking zone. I definitely think there's going to be a penalty coming as well.
Yeah, it's a shame. Obviously, for Hull, it's a... there's contact as well. Was there contact between Olivia Hayward afterwards?
I think so.
Hayward's trying to get back going again. I think Hull... here, watch Hull in the 3M UK car. Yep. Oh. There's contact. I mean, that's just a pair of them trying to get back on the road, so how you'll see that one, I don't know. For Hull, I mean, it is his first proper season in a major championship like this. There's been some highs, has had 2 top 10s, and including that mega high of the excellent qualifying at Knock Hill, but unfortunately a bit of a mega low for Hull to round out the penultimate race of the season. But still, that's fine. That's how we build these drivers up.
Absolutely, and this championship just gets better and better. To be honest, great to have all these teams here, and especially bring in some newer drivers. Really great platform for that. But at the front, you have some of the big names going at it, hammer and tongs, for a race victory. It's still Matt Caruana who leads. Of course, he had the better start than Isaac Price. Gilbert still remains in 3rd, and Carroll in 4th. So the positions haven't changed as such. But I doubt they're going to finish in this place, or at least not without trying.
There's no way they're finishing in this order. We've just passed the halfway point of the race in the not too recent past. Of course, we're a minute 30 past that point. 8 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in this race. Isaac Price yet to take a victory, yet to take a podium in 2024, to be perfectly honest. So that would be well deserved. Matt Caruana, though, is leading, a driver who has won a few times this season. Remy Gilbert has won. Graham Carroll has won. Leo Brown has won. Gogo Bowdy, Isaac Price, and Moreno Sirica, the drivers in this group, yet to take victories. The top 3 are clearing a bit of a margin over Graham Carroll. He might be backing out of it a little bit.
Yeah, I think we know in this situation, Bodie's just going to effectively hold up Leo Brown behind for the championship-wise, both teams and drivers. I don't think he's going to be coming through for a race victory, but it might be down to Isaac Price for G2 Esports. We will have to see. But Bodie, he's been slightly off the pace compared to Graham Carroll, and that is why they're in this situation. But let's see what he can do in that place, which is currently 5th. As we see Gilbert getting very close to Price, I think he's going to be close to making a move as the laps slowly start to count down.
Yeah, no Christmas tree up in the background of Remy Gilbert, just a foosball table that would absolutely smash you on cam. That's not true, I'm really bad at foosball. As we'll see Gilbert into Graham Hill Bend. You can see them all running out wide. I think you're absolutely right. I think Gogo Bowdy is just going to sit there in 5th position and hold firm. And Graham Carroll is probably just going to hang on to 4th, secure the Drivers' Championship, and then they'll go on the attack in the next race to try and grab the Team's Championship. The double is obviously the goal here for Ferrari, but it's going to be a tough one for them. And I think for Graham Carroll, all that's going through his mind is checklists. Let's tick off the Drivers' Championship, and then we can go after the teams full guns blazing.
Oh, absolutely. I think that would be a good way to do it. And talking of the Drivers' Championship, so Henry Moore, he's making good progress. He's up into 13th place, but remember the number I said was P7. That's where Sirica is. Even if Moore gets to the front of the 2nd pack and gets Elias Riker for 8th, he then has to overcome basically 4 seconds to get up to Sirica. So it's not looking great as long as Graham Carroll stays in this position.
Yeah, indeed. If Carroll drops back, though, it won't be courtesy of Gogo Bowdy. Surely it will be courtesy of Leo Brown, Moreno Sirica, or some major drama. We're right on board with Henry Moore, looking at the driver who might have the championship slip through his fingers. He's going to get his way past here as Moreno Sirica's got past Leo Brown into 6th position. Henry Moore's going to get past Yoni Kattler on the race down into the 1st turn. So Kattler recognising the pace differential between himself and Henry Moore, and Moore takes over the 12th position as there's almost a bit of contact there. In fact, there will be a bit of a brush there between Yoni Kattler and Manuel Biancalilla.
Well, we know Biancanilla likes to be feisty. That is his style, and he is certainly one of the faster drivers. Unfortunately, he's missed quite a few rounds this season, but that has actually meant that Joseph Locas there, Spets from his back of the grid exclusion from qualifying penalty, goes for a spin out of Sterling's.
It's a bit of a shame. Just a touch into the rear end of the Aston Martin and spinning across the road, nearly collecting the Guild driver there of Moore. But that was a pretty close one. That was pretty scary.
It's never good when a driver spins, especially like at the exit of a corner like that. Everyone's sending it through there. You can't see the exit. It's completely blind with the wall and the trees on the inside. Oh, here goes Fitzpatrick. Just touched the curb on the entry or turn 3 there down at Graham Hill, and unfortunately has spun that one. And that's the second prismatic car to go around this race.
Yeah, not ending the season on the high that they had. I mean, the high of highs, which was Serge Fitzpatrick, of course, at Knock Hill, where it's a fantastic round. Fitzpatrick drove just 2 brilliant races, to be fair, to 2 very good results. As we can see, the update in the Teams Championship will be closed in slightly by the Ferrari team here. 15 points, courtesy of Leo Brown being overtaken by Moreno Sorica. That means that Ferrari will be closing in by 2 points. Sorica, though, will go on the attack of Gogo Bowdy. Now finds themselves inside the top 6. And I said about the top 5s, Sorica's got a really good top 5 record in the British F4 Esports Championship in 2024.
Indeed, and the record is what they want to keep in these final couple of races. But 4 minutes remain. No moves thus far at the front, but I can feel it coming. They are not going to finish in these places, but it is so difficult to make a move around here. The textbook one is what we've seen a couple of times already, is the up and under through Paddock Hill Bend up towards Druids, but it's kind of predictable. Is there somewhere else on the track that you can find a way through?
Potentially. I mean, look, let's hammer home the facts right now. We're about to start the penultimate lap of the penultimate race this season, which means that after this, we've only got 20 more minutes to decide things in the Teams Championship. We could have just 3.5 more minutes to decide things in the Drivers' Championship. Henry Moore is not in position and will not get into position in the next 2 laps. I mean, he's an incredible driver to keep an eye on, and he's had a great race thus far, but that ain't possible. Yanni Cattle has entered the pit lane as we'll see this tight fight. The thing is, though, this fight is about to get turned up to 11, and even the fight behind it between Gogo Bowdy and Moreno Sorica.
Yeah, this is going to be getting very tasty indeed. And remember, for Ferrari as well, if they want to win the teams, they need to be finishing ahead of Guild, and they still have Remy Gilbert just up ahead of them in 3rd place. So there is incentive to try and get through. As you say, Lewis, maybe they're going to wait for the final race. But let's have a look. In the background, though, actually, Baldy's defending a little bit from Moreno Sorica, who's getting very close, and he's looking quite spicy in that 6th position.
I think Gogo Bowdy might even intentionally slow these 2 down just to allow Graham Carroll to definitely have the gap to not bring anything more into this. But for Ferrari, they need the points that Gogo Bowdy currently has, so he needs to put on a staunch defence here. Did I say penultimate lap? I meant that we're going on to penultimate lap now. I can do maths. I promise you I can do maths.
The penultimate lap, something like that. I don't know what the 3rd to last lap would be called in that regard. But also Sorica, right, just to say about his pace, of course, his name is highlighted in blue. That's because of the fastest lap as well. So he's very fast so far this race. And we come up to 2 minutes to go, and no moves yet in towards Druids. There is a bit of a look up the inside, though. A late move there for Remy Gilbert. He's trying to get past Isaac Price, who might have been sleeping a little bit side by side. They go down the hill.
Yeah, and Isaac Price backs out of it then, so that's a big one for the Teams Championship for Remy Gilbert to take over 2nd position, and there's a bit of a weave coming in there from Graham Carroll. That's communicating one way, maybe it's even to Isaac Price. I'm not going to attack you, get on with going on the attack and try and find your way through. It's now going to be a 20-point lead heading into the season finale for Guild Esports in the Teams Championship. Again, no drop scores in the drivers or the teams. It is basically all guns blazing to try and take the crown.
So keep it on the road. By 20 points, that's starting to be a decent margin for Guild. I tell you what, compared to 15, those 5 points might be crucial depending on what the reverse grid number is. Remember, it could be up to 15. So that is a long, long way back for Remy Gilbert to come from if he can try and get this race victory. 1 lap to go, 1 minute remaining, penultimate race of the season. How are we going to finish this?
Yeah, I may have preemptively called the penultimate lap of the race, but I'm not preemptively calling the final lap we head on to the last lap of race 15. Caruana leads from Remy Gilbert, from Isaac Price, from Graham Carroll, from Goga Baldi, Moreno Sarica and Leo Brown. The 7 cars all doing battle within 2 seconds for the race lead. Caruana's doing a great job at the front of the field, but can he hang on from Remy Gilbert, who will be hungry to try and take this one?
He certainly will. He's getting close. Grass being taken from Caruana. He's pushing the limits, trying to find his way to victory. Now, this is an important corner. Through Surtees, different lines between the two. Slightly later apex from Caruana as he's trying to get the run and now break the slipstream.
Yeah, indeed. Again, trying to find any way to make the move at the moment. Remy Gilbert, of course, has got a victory this season. That was back at Knock Hill. For Matt Caruana, he's had 3 victories. He's had one, of course, at Zandvoort, one at Snetterton, and one at Donington Grand Prix. Could he take one here at the season finale round? I mean, it's going to be a tough one for Remy Gilbert to find his way past, right?
Yes, it's going to have to be a big send or a mistake from Caruana. No moves in towards Sterling's. It's looking good. Just one final corner to go.
Yes, indeed, for Caruana, who came into this season having 1 victory to his name before a controversial round. This season, no controversy, just fantastic driving. It's been a great year for Matt Caruana. He's going to come through the final corner to take his 4th victory of 2024, and courtesy of taking the victory in the previous race as well, it's back-to-back victories for Matt Caruana. Remy Gilbert onto the podium ahead of Isaac Price, who we'll catch up with for the first time this season. But the important information here, Cam, Graham Carroll, with a race left to go, is going to be the series champion. It's not done racing-wise, though, as we head back to Joel Hull into the final corner with a driver he made contact with earlier on in this race.
He's not going to get the run to the line, though. He tried that. And actually, I say that, he's got the slipstream, he's got the run. It's a long way to the line. But no, Kulik will hold on to that position for P19. But for Graham Carroll and Ferrari, they are going to take the Drivers' Championship. 2 exclusion from qualifying penalties have hindered Henry Moore in the final couple of rounds of the season. And even a run to P12 in the fastest lap isn't enough to keep it going into the final race.
Indeed. Brilliant stuff for Graham Carroll. Congratulations to you and a deserved 2024 crown. And like you say, 1 more race left to go in the season. It means that he can just go absolutely hammer and tong to try and take victory. Of course, Ferrari could still win the team's championship as well. Let's pull out the spinny wheel for the final time. It's not going to be a big number. It's just going to be the top 7 that we saw fighting, flipping themselves around. Wow, that's going to be fantastic. So Leo Brown will start the final race from pole position. Of course, he took the first race victory of the season. Matt Caruana, though, taking his 4th race victory in race number 15. Remy Gilbert in 2nd, with Isaac Price in 3rd. Graham Carroll, the series champion, will finish the race in 4th, with Goga Baldi in 5th. The 2 Ferrari drivers. Goga Baldi's been a solid number 2 for Graham Carroll this season. Moreno Sarica up to 6th position, be starting on the outside of the front row. Leo Brown starting from the reverse grid pole in the next race. Elias Riker, Will Murdoch and Ronnie Smith rounding out the top 10 in the Mensa Racing driven by us team. Of course, just ahead of Giuseppe Lafaro. Henry Moore up to 12th position from the rear of the field. Samuele Villa into 13th. Joseph Loke into 14th position, just ahead of his teammate Manuel Biancalilla, but not a good race for the Aston Martin team, losing out an awful lot of points in their battle for 3rd in the championship. Serge Fitzpatrick in 16th position, with Stachulek behind in 17th. Then Catalaro with a penalty drops back to 18th position. Kulik and Hull round out the top 20 after contact between the pair of them. Olivia Hayward in 21st position, with Pablo Espes reaching the checker flag despite the opening lap drama. 2 retirements from the race, Alexander Spetz and Will Chadwick. Fastest lap and the bonus point, it is to Henry Moore. So superb efforts from them. But let's start catching up with our drivers, beginning, of course, with Matt Caruana for the 4th time this season, and back-to-back victories for Matt. I mean, Matt, let's talk about that one. Solid drive, excellent battle, just able to fend off Remy Gilbert and Isaac Price up towards the line.
Yeah, no, I was happy with my quali lap to start with. Managed to get a good start. I don't think I got the best of starts, so from there I just kept my head down really, and I think I had decent pace. So yeah.
I mean, we saw in the Formula Fords about how the slipstream around here is quite high. Is it quite high in the Formula 4s, or is it not too much to think about? Is it more of a traditional style of racing around here?
Normally the slipstream is quite strong, to be honest, but it wasn't too bad in that race, to be honest. They were like 3 tenths behind on the straight and only got to like 2 tenths, 1.5 tenths, so it really wasn't that bad.
Obviously, you're in a tight fight in the championship there with Leo Brown, who will be starting for the fourth position in the championship. Leo Brown will be starting, though, from the reverse grid pole. It's only the top 7 that will get reversed in the season finale race. So you've got good chances to work your way through and maybe even take victory. But Leo Brown's going to be starting from that reverse grid pole. It's going to be looking pretty strong for it. What are your thoughts going into the final race of the season?
I think it's going to be chaos, to be honest, because it's the last race of the season. Everyone's going for everything, but I'm just gonna, as always, try and stay out of any shunts and try and get to the front.
We'll keep our fingers crossed for you and for your teammate Ronnie Smith, of course, battling for good positions in the team's championship as well. Fingers crossed, Matt, and we'll maybe talk to you after race 2.
Thank you, appreciate it.
There we go, Matt Caruana for the 4th time in 2024. On to the top step of the podium. Next driver to catch up with, the driver who finished second to him, Remy Gilbert, 0.2 of a second off of a race victory. But still, it's been a fantastic season. It's been very, very tight indeed. What do you make of that race? Couldn't quite get the victory.
Well, I mean, on the last lap, I didn't really want to try anything. Had to get the move done on Isaac, just get them a few extra points, but didn't want to risk anything on that last lap, so just stay behind. But yeah, Matt was very quick, so would have been hard to challenge anyway.
Obviously, teams championship wise, that's where we really are keeping our eyes focused. It is incredibly tight between Guild and Ferrari, but you've outscored them quite well. It's now a 20-point lead for Guild heading into the season finale race. What's the game plan for you coming into this? You'll be starting from 6th.
Just to really just try and get ahead of the Ferraris. I mean, we're going to have team manager Seb in our ear telling us the points every lap, so we'll know when to make moves and when to not. So yeah, it's going to be about minimal risk whilst trying to keep our points advantage. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be very tight, so yeah, just have to see how it goes.
Is that not quite a lot to think about as a driver, having your team manager jump in, tell you all the points and stuff? Would you kind of like that? Is that a positive thing for you? Would you rather just keep focused on the race and do it as you are? I promise Seb will not come after you after this race if you say anything negative. It's fine.
No, I think it's a good thing. It's nice, you know. If I don't need to go for a move, I don't need to risk anything. You know, if we've got a points advantage, then there's no point really. So if we're in a good position, I guess Seb will be there, you know, tell us to hold there, and when we do need to make the moves, he'll tell us, and yeah, I think it's really good.
Well, best of luck in the next race. We'll maybe catch up with you. Maybe you might be taking a victory. Who knows?
Thank you very much.
There we go, Remy Gilbert on to 2nd position, of course, in this race. The final driver to catch up with from the podium positions is Isaac Price. Wow. Not someone I was expecting to see taking pole position this evening. That was an incredible one. And of course, your first podium of 2024 here in the British F4 Esports Championship. I mean, you've got to be thrilled with that because, I mean, quality drive to pole, 5,000 of a second, incredible.
Bit offended that you didn't think I had a chance of pole. I've qualified on the 2nd row a couple of times this season already, so been threatening to do it. But yeah, I definitely didn't quite have the raw speed, but I just put together a really clean lap, so it put me at the front.
It's always my role to offend drivers. Obviously, again, G2 have had a good flashes of speed, both yourself and Yoni Katala throughout the season. But there's been big highs, big lows. I mean, of course, it has been a difficult season for you, but it seems to be ending in the right footing. And of course, for the next race, it's a top 7 reverse grid. So it's basically the battle pack that we just had in the previous race. It's the same. It's just that reversed. What do you think you can do in the next race?
I mean, I don't really know. I haven't really put much thought into it yet. I've been probably having like the worst run of luck I've ever had in sim racing the last few rounds. So, yeah, I was mostly just glad to break that. Hopefully, we won't start a new run in the next race.
Yeah, of course, obviously back in Donington Park, you were running in a really solid position and there was a connection issue. And like I say, you look back through the season, there's been lots of bad luck. How do you kind of keep spirits high when there are things that are effectively out of your control that are going against you?
I mean, I haven't kept my spirits high, but it's just one of those things. Racing, you have good days and bad days, and you can't ever take either side of it too seriously. It's always something in between, you know. Like, you know, you're only one bad race away from being humbled, no matter how good you are, and vice versa. So, yeah, I never lost the belief that I could do good races. It's just a matter of keep doing the right things and wait for it to turn around.
You're only one bad race away from being humbled. I like that. That is brutal and shows exactly what it's like. Isaac, thank you so much. Excellent first podium of the season, and congratulations on pole.
Thank you.
There we go. Isaac Price, the last driver to interview there from the podiums. But there is one final person that we want to catch up with after an incredible season. 15 races down with one left to go. Graham Carroll is the series champion. Graham, I mean, that's got to be a massive relief after the season you've had.
Yep, thank you very much. Honestly, over the moon with it. Yeah, like to join Ferrari, first sort of season in this F4 car. And yeah, to sort of be P2 the whole way through and being consistent as I was, and then it came to me, and yeah, I wasn't going to let it get away from me. So yep, absolute over the moon. And I think it's only 16 years since I've won a British championship, so it's only a few years ago, right? So buzzing.
Yeah, indeed. Is it now where I tell you that your championship rival is 16 years old? That's fine. We'll gloss over
Do you know that I used to race against his dad back in the day as well?
There we go. Really
yeah.
Small world, my goodness. Obviously, let's keep focused on where we've been. Obviously, you've had 2 retirement seasons. Outside of that, your lowest finish is 4th, but you've only won twice. That's really hammering home the consistency is key vibe that you've kind of been showing all season. Not risking too much too often, and that's kind of what's brought this championship to you, like you said.
Honestly, these F4 races are mental. Like, you think I've done F1 Esports, I've done PESC, I've done Rensport. F4, any race is just mental. The net code's not amazing. So yeah, it's just I had a chat with William Chadwick at the start of the season when no drop rounds. You have to finish every race. There's no ifs and buts about it. So my big mistake at Zandvoort, just driving into someone 3 wide, just really cost me. So I had a moment, Henry had a moment at Donington, so it kind of put us back to even. So yeah, it's been some season, but yeah, just consistency and just being up there all the time. Sometimes battling with guys like Joseph and stuff. You know what? Have the position. I'm not willing to risk a DNF or something, and it really put me back a little bit from Henry. But I knew it would come. I knew it would come to me eventually, and it did. And over the moon. It's been a long season.
It has been, and it's not done yet. There's one final race where you as a driver can go out and achieve whatever you want, but there's stuff on the line here. The team's championship, you and Gerger can still go on and win the championship. It's 20 points, though, between you and Guild. What's your game plan going into the season finale race? The top 7 are the ones being reversed.
Win it, right? Simple as that, right? I think some of my reverse grid races have been really good this year, and I think that's helped me with some points. Knockhill, Oldham Park, coming for like outside the top 10 to a podium. So these are my favourite races, but obviously making sure I don't have any contact, I don't want any points or anything to affect the drivers. And yeah, just do the best with Gergo we can. And you know, I think you've got to think as well, like not taking anything away from it, but Gergo is very new to iRacing, so to be in this position and to be leading for a point of it, I think we've done really well as a team. So yeah, that will give it our all, and you never know what this last race can do, right? It's going to be probably quite a spicy one, being the last one of the season, so I'm looking forward to it.
We're expecting chaos. Graham, congratulations on the championship, and hey, again, maybe we're chatting to you as the team's championship later on, who knows?
Can I just say a big thank you as well before I go, in case I don't get a podium here? So I'd like to say a big thank you to Tiziana and Cam from Veloci and Ferrari for making this all possible for me, bringing me in to sort of strengthen the iRacing side of things here. So yeah, a dream come true to be a part of the team and to win a championship for them. And then again, Gergo, Isaac, they've been really good. Anthony, sort of for the all practice and stuff throughout the season. And then obviously my family, my mum and dad, girlfriend, and the dogs and stuff. So thank you very much.
Cheers, Graham. Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
There we go. Cam, drivers wise, it's done. What a character as well. Love a bit of Graham Carroll, and you know, as much as, you know, again, we've got to see Henry Moore's career kind of progress. He's got so much ahead of him in the world of sim racing. This title slipping through the fingers. I'm pretty sure he'll bounce back pretty quick after this one.
Absolutely. Henry Moore's got plenty coming for him, but Graham Carroll there, I love mentioning the dog as well. I'm sure that was a big influence in this championship, but so consistent at the front, just getting the points.
Season finale is coming up in just a second. One more race left to go in the British Formula 4 Esports Championship. We're going to have one breather before what I'm assuming is going to be absolute chaos.
I'm Saoirse Fitzpatrick. I'm one of the drivers for Prismatic Motorsports, and this is my second full-time series in the British F4 Esports series. I'm aiming for just good, consistent results. In the past, we haven't really been, personally anyway, I haven't been quick enough to be challenging for race wins. So being in the top 10 consistently is what I'm aiming for this season. To be honest, the pressure, because the level of competition is really, really high in this series, that it takes quite a lot of effort to get to that level and then stay at that level through the whole season. And it's just quite a lot of work that goes into that. I mean, if I have achieved like a consistent number of top 10s or even just like good fights, really, if I'm like having fun with the series, that's kind of actually what I would really enjoy, like to look back on.
Thank you there to Saoirse Fitzpatrick. And of course, there's plenty more media content, by the way, on the Motorsport UK Instagram. Seen about there on social media everywhere. But there's been quite a few bits they've uploaded from Media Day, including various little laps whilst everyone's being questioned about various things. I've seen you've been liking a couple of those, Cam.
Yeah, I scroll too much, but yeah, it's good content. It's good content on there. So yeah, really good effort from Motorsport UK. And obviously on the esports side of things as well, we've crowned a drivers champion, but let's go and crown a teams champion.
Indeed. Let's run you through the grid very, very quickly. Leo Brown then reversed onto the reverse grid pole. Moreno, Sirica, Gogo Bowdy and Graham Carroll for the Scuderia Ferrari Esports team starting on the second row. Isaac Price and Remy Gilbert will start from 6th position. Then we've got Matt Caruana in 7th. Elias Riker, Will Murdoch and Ronnie Smith rounding out the top 10 with Giuseppe Lafaro and Henry Moore, now with nothing to lose in this race, starting from 12th. Samuele Villa will start from 13th, with 14th being Joseph Loke. Saoirse Fitzpatrick and Statulek will start from 6th position, with Catala and Joel Hull in 18th. The final couple of rows will see Olivia Hayward, Pablo Espes, Manuel Biancalilla and Will Chadwick. Of course, the exclusive qualifying and the reverse grid drop as well. We've got a few seconds left to go. One final race left to go in the season. Cam, I'm not going to ask you about the winner of the race. I'm going to ask you about the winner of the team's championship. Guild or Ferrari?
Guild even.
Guild. Fair play. 20 minutes left to go in the season then. Let's get the season finale out of the way. The British F4 Esports Championship season finale is go. We race our way down the first corner. Leo Brown, Moreno, Sirica alongside the front row, with Gogo Bowdy dropping straight into the slipstream. It's all single file for the front sort of 10 drivers, and there's a bit of side-by-side, including 3 wide behind this, with Henry Moore, Ronnie Smith and Giuseppe Lafaro. Henry Moore moves his way inside the top 10 courtesy of that, and then side-by-side behind all this with Isaac Price, Remy Gilbert and such behind. But Leo Brown holds the race lead by 0.3 of a second.
And this is a big one for Graham Carroll, of course, to hold on, because now he doesn't have his teammate up behind him. Up the inside, it is going to be there for Remy Gilbert as he tries to get past Isaac Price. Let's see what this is like as we come down the back straight, because, of course, this is important for the team's title, Ferrari versus Guild.
Yeah, I mean, look, you heard Graham Carroll talking about the lack of experience on iRacing for Gogo Bowdy, particularly in open wheelers. He's more of a touring car specialist. I've brought up a few times his accolades in touring cars. T-time WTCR Esports champion is Gogo Bowdy. He's been a fantastic driver behind the wheel of touring cars, including being close with people like Norbert Michelis. He used to drive for Michelitz's esports team. You know who Norbert Michelis is? Well, start Googling. Fantastic driver. An icon of the world of Hungary when it comes to motorsport terms. Gogo Bowdy's done it all in the world of sim racing, including beating me a few times. We'll not talk about that. As out of the race goes Will Chadwick.
Oh, what a season Chaz has had. He's got race wins. He's also had whoa, I thought Murdoch was going to keep it on the road, but he couldn't quite. He got a wheel in the grass, and it just pulled him out into the gravel. He's dropped a few places there. Loke's going to get past him up into P12, and also maybe Villa. No, not quite into turn 1.
Yeah, Will Murdoch there just getting pulled off the road. Unfortunately, just courtesy of dipping 2 wheels in the grass, like you say. But it is what it is for Murdoch. He's had a fantastic run of pace, but realistically could get his way through into a decent result. Let's roll back down and see what happened with Chadders. Just overcooking it a little bit into Sterling's and into the gravel. Unfortunately, that is not a good way to end the season. He's already returned to pit lane, and I believe might call it quits on 2024.
Might do as in the background, Biancalilla went 3 wide with the Super Prismatic cars, and I think they're still going side by side in the background. Biancalilla, oh, maybe they haven't. Contact was made. They were 3 wide into that corner, and it obviously didn't work out.
Certainly didn't. That's 3 wide. Not really a great idea. Let's roll back to that instant. I mean, just very awkward. Oh my goodness, that's aggressive.
I think the wheels were locked into each other. Bianconella being pulled back down the circuit, but unfortunately that is not the way that their season would have been wanted to finish, as Villa is also out of the race along with Chadwick. Up the inside, they're just going a bit too wide into Catalan.
Yeah, and you see one of the prismatic cars flying all over the place, and you see the other one directly ahead. I mean, they're definitely locked together in some degree. It wasn't pretty, let's be honest. Let's roll with that as we head back down into T1 at the moment. Isaac Price, who we're keeping our eye on here, might drop back behind Remy Gilbert. Gilda in really good positions in the point scores of this race. Remy Gilbert could really hammer this one home.
He certainly could. Can he get past Price? This is an important one because Ferrari are getting off up the road as well. Price is going to go in there, slows down though on the apex of the corner. So that position done there for Gilbert. Off in the background, Joseph Loke. I mean, he is half a kilometre off the track there out of Graham Hill. He's still going to try and be side by side. He's got Will Murdoch up ahead of him. Side by side, they go up the hill onto the back straight.
Yeah, indeed. There goes the side-by-side, as you like to say. Joseph Loke trying to drag his way past Will Murdoch on the inside line as we head into Hawthorns. Giuseppe Nafaro sat off the rear end of it. There's Joseph Loke through. Murdoch not fighting that one too hard, but look at the gap ahead, Cam. 2 seconds to this group ahead, has already tried to make some moves. Fastest lap has gone to the name of Henry Moore. Could this be a mega drive from Moore to work his way through into a podium? I mean, a race. Is that getting too far ahead of myself? He's got nothing to lose here.
I don't think so. I mean, the important point is he's in this lead group. The issue with the first race was even if he got up to that all-important 8th position, he would have still been 4 seconds back, but he's in this lead group this time, so he can work his way forward one by one. He's still got 15 minutes to go in this session, so I wouldn't be surprised if they do that. A bit of a wiggle there from Caruana in the middle of the pack to say to Remy Gilbert, let's catch back up to the 2 Ferraris of Graham Carroll and Gogo Bowden.
Okay, I'll tell you one thing about Henry Moore. Guarantee that Seb Hawkins would probably not allow him to win this race. Certainly not with Leo Brown at the front. They want points for Guild Esports. They want the team's championship. That's what they're here to play for. It's all that's left on the line, really. They don't care about any further drivers' championship positions. At the moment, Guild, look at that. 28 points. They've got an 8-point advantage in this race alone over the Scuderia Ferrari HB Esports team as Graham Carroll closes back up to his teammate. I'm pretty sure Gogo Bowdy might sidestep here in a moment to try and allow his teammate through.
And of course, there's some positions in the Drivers' Championship they want to stay close on. Brown versus Caruana for P4. They're only 7 points apart as it stands. P1 and P6 on the track, so that's something to look out for. Remy Gilbert pretty much just sorted it in that 3rd place as well, so not too much to worry about there. But for Brown and Caruana, at least something to think about, as the top 4 have got a little bit of a breakaway here. Remy Gilbert, P5, not able to hold up with the top 4, but he doesn't really need to. They're still in the winning position, and unless Ferrari get a 1-2, I guess they're not going to be worrying.
No, exactly. But, I mean, look, we'll wait and see for now as the defensive line comes in from Leo Brown, who, of course, has won at Brands Hatch earlier on the season. In fact, to open the season when he went racing at Brands Indy. At the moment, he's got Moreno Sirica all over the back of him, looking for a victory. Here comes the big send from Sirica. He fires one down the inside of Druids, but it's well held from Leo Brown.
What a defence there from Leo Brown. He put just enough squeeze onto Sirica to hold him down to the apex so he couldn't get a run. Perfect driving from the pair of them. Sirica went in there late on the brakes, but he kept it there as well. Didn't go too wide. Lovely battle between the pair of them as they work their way onto the back straight, pulling along the 2 Ferrari cars, and they're still pulled away actually from P5. Sirica this time, bit of a bump draft, doesn't go for the overtake.
Exactly. I mean, remaining patient. Of course, Moreno Sirica has been in this championship for a fair while. Did even race all the way back in 2022. In fact, grabbing a podium in his very first race. He only did 2 races back in 2022. It was a 3rd and a 4th position that he managed to get. Then did the entirety of the season, grabbing 4 podiums, yet to take a victory, though. And that's the important one for Sirica. Doesn't have a podium this season and doesn't have a victory in any of the seasons that he's done in British F4 Esports.
That is a crazy stat. Without looking at the stats, I would have said he got one, but maybe this is his time because he's got 2 Ferraris behind who I guess they do want to finish 1-2 in this race, but they haven't been overly aggressive all day. Let's see if that changes, though, as the race situation closes down. So maybe it's just a 1v1 battle. Let's see how aggressive Gogo Bowdy wants to be to try and get through because the cars behind are catching.
Yeah, they certainly were, and I saw Henry Moore trying to work his way through. You got, like I say, trying to fend off Isaac Price. He's now got A couple of tenths up to Elias Riker, who's certainly having a bit of a look. Not quite as dark behind the scenes here of Gogo Bowdy as we've seen on a fair few occasions. He does like to drive in a very dark room, does Gogo, as he's trying to close his way in. There comes a look from Moreno Sarica. He's bored a bump draft. Now we head up towards Hawthorns, and the Williams driver takes a look to the inside and sneaks his way through into the race lead.
Yeah, that's such a good tactic. The previous lap, he bump drafted, so maybe caught Leo unawares this time around, thinking it was going to be the same, but it wasn't. And Sarico goes to the front, and that is great to see from Williams. They've had a tough season, but they're now leading in this final race of the season. Can Sarica get his first win in this championship? Let's find out, but it's not going to be easy because Brown is definitely not going to give up when they want to make sure they stay ahead of the Ferraris for the championship.
12 minutes left to go. That is it to end what has been a thrilling season thus far. I mean, we've had so many highs, so many lows, but at the moment for Ferrari, they want to end on the highest of highs. At the moment, the highest of highs is being held by Guild Esports. Leo Brown with the fence slightly. Gogo Bowdy will go full send, heading up towards Druids, which is what Moreno Sarica tried a couple of laps ago. This time, though, Gogo Bowdy could be successful. He goes to the outside, going into Graham Hill Bend. A big send over the curb and contact between the pair. Leo Brown gives a little bit of contact. Gogo Bowdy says, anything you can do, I can do better, as he gives a bit of a nudge back to Brown. Half a second then clear for Moreno Sarica at the front. Things are starting to get very spicy indeed.
I can't work out if this is a good idea. So Sarica's getting away at the front, and now Caruana's on the back of Graham Carroll. I'm not so sure that was the right timing for Gogo Bowdy, but I guess he's got to do something if they want to win this team's championship. A bit of a wiggle there from Carroll. I wonder if that's to say to Caruana behind, please don't get involved as we're having a big battle.
Yeah, indeed. I don't know. Obviously, the communication that Carroll's got here is not going to Gogo Bowdy. You can just hit push to talk and send a message straight to the Hungarian, as there's a bit of a kick of oversteer going through the penultimate corner on the circuit. Trust me, that gap for the race lead, by the way, will get dragged the way back down unless Gogo Bowdy goes fully on the attack. Out wide goes Leo Brown. Gogo Bowdy could be close going into Paddock Hill. And remember, for Gogo Bowdy, he doesn't have to worry about an attack from behind. He can go full attack forwards, which not too many are afforded that opportunity.
Oh, this is such a big group. It's really 10 cars at the front to Ronnie Smith in the background. Lewis McGlade is the magic number of 6. This is a little bit too hectic, and therefore things are going to happen. You can absolutely bet your bottom dollar on that one. As Joseph Loker's gone around, he's losing positions hand over fist at this moment in time.
I think it was connection issues for Joseph Loke, and he might have dropped out of that. He could have spun around the other side. I know he had connection issues earlier on in the lap, and I wonder if that might have sparked an incident, which we've had a little bit recently with connection issues and incidents. And Esports had a little bit of that, but that's fine. As it is tight towards front. Quarter of a second now, Moreno Sarica leads from Leo Brown. Here is a look at it. I wonder if, I don't know, that's it. I think he might have dropped back in on the nose.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because, I mean, Murdoch there was just pushing him around the corner. So you might be right. It might have just appeared on the screen in front. Tough one, tough round for Joseph Loke. He had the exclusion from qualifying, did his best to make it back, but he hasn't done as well as Henry Moore, who's up into P8 and the fastest lap. Out of all these close battles and everything, got the fastest lap in the first race as well. So definitely very fast. Just unfortunately had that penalty from the rejoin in Donington Park. But look at the train of cars. We are really closing in now. 9 minutes remaining of the season.
Yeah, indeed. Like I say, the magic rule of 6. It normally applies because any more than 6 and very quickly you start getting crashes. This round it's less so being the case. Obviously we've got 7 here, really with an 8, 9 and a 10th. But you just never know how these ones are going to unfold. Of course, the top 7 were reversed as well, so that can sometimes drop down the chaos factor because obviously it's not quite as large a reverse grid. But to say that all these drivers on your screen right now are going to get to the checkered flag, can we been in sim racing long enough to know that that's probably not true?
Well, we certainly have. There's a team's championship on offer, and at some point, Ferrari have got to do something. Let's be honest. I mean, if they just sit here in 3rd and 4th where they were at the end of lap 1, they're not going to win anything. They've got to try and get a 1-2 in this race. But the problem is, you got Sarica, who doesn't really care. He's just going for a race win at this point. And you got Leo Brown, who is the very team that they're trying to beat ahead of them. So it's going to be a big fight to the end. But I just wonder, is there going to be a way to get both of these cars ahead of Leo Brown? At least in the first instance, that's what they need to do.
Yeah, indeed. I would quite like Graham Carroll to finish in 4th position in this race because 500 looks pretty cool on the live standings there. But of course, there's plenty of close fights in behind. Will Graham Carroll find his way past Gogo Bowdy now? No, 7 minutes and 30 seconds left to go in the race, so not too long. And again, like you say, Teams Champion is up for grabs. The fantastic prizes that we've got up for grabs for the Teams Champion as well, thanks to our fantastic partners, of course, here for the British F4 Esports Championship. They are battling for a fair amount of that, which is all good. You know, obviously we've talked about the experiences and so, but also the honour of winning the British F4 Esports Championship, you know, an officially sanctioned series. I mean, it's very cool to be a part of. To win a championship like this, it's a mega feat.
Oh, absolutely. It's obviously becoming quite an important championship as well. That's why these teams are here. As in the background, we're going side by side. Henry Moore round the outside of Elias Riker. Can he make it stick? He's got fastest lap. He's one of the fastest drivers in the championship. And he's got to do it again round the outside for the second.
Wow.
Of asking, but that's going to continue up towards Sheen's.
I mean, look, to go around the outside at Hawthorns is brave. To go around the outside of Westfield Bend is brave. To go around the outside of Sheen is crazy. Henry Moore outside, finally through into 7th for the 77. Now Riker has to fend off Isaac Price. Here comes Ronnie Smith with the ultra send for the Mentor team down the inside of the final corner to try and get past Isaac Price. I think Ronnie might just about clear this one.
And remember, for Mensa, driven by us, this is for 3rd place in the team standings. I mean, it's pretty much confirmed now with Loke and Bianca not having a great day. But around the outside there from Isaac Price, he's not making it easy. Smith is going to have to work for this up the inside, but this would be a lovely confirmation for them. As of course, he's got Caruana, his teammate, just up ahead, getting those points as well.
Yeah, Ronnie Smith, obviously in action here, has joined us obviously at the Alton Park International round where he's victorious, courtesy of the penalty coming in for Will Chadwick. There's the big send on Isaac Price, who's trying to hang it around the outside. There's going to be contact there. Oh, got to give a little bit of room there. Ronnie Smith just trying to squeeze out Isaac Price, who's wise to it, drags himself alongside. Bit of squeezing, bit of crowding happening here on the race up the hill, and Ronnie Smith will work his way. That was a little bit naughty.
It was a little bit aggressive between the two, but what it's done is it's made it a top 8 battle now. I guess they are splintering just a little bit, but it is a top 8 battle. In the Ferraris, one thing that we have to notice is Carroll has got past Gogo Baldy, and Baldy's slowing down ever so slightly as now Carroll is going for Brown, and they need to do something to get this championship. 5 minutes remain, just a few laps, and the first protocol is getting past Leo Brown and then seeing what happens with Sarika.
Yeah, indeed. I think maybe Gogo Baldy's overdone his tyres, and we've had the word that tyres are a fair thing in this championship. They do go off a little bit in these F4 cars around here. This will happen to Pablo Espes. Ooh, big crash. To be fair, I'm surprised we've not seen more of that throughout the running of this evening's racing, either in the Formula Fords or here in the Formula Fords, as Gogo Baldy continues his defence of Matt Caruana, who would like to get through to try and fight more hard so for 4th in the championship.
Yeah, this is such a weird position because, of course, everyone, when it gets to the final race this season like this, everyone's sort of battling for something, and there's some fights where maybe people aren't going to battle and some fights where people are going to battle, and this is one of them because Baldy effectively needs to hold up Gilbert in behind, and it's actually good he's got a driver in between them, so there's obviously some extra points there that Caruana is taking off Gilbert as such, and that's the situation that Baldy wants to hold on to. But Henry Moore is then in behind, and he's not going to overtake his teammate, is he? Because he's the Guild Academy team, not the Guild Esports, who's going for the title.
Yeah, indeed. Like I say, I'm sure Seb Hawkins will be keeping a close eye on that to make sure that everything's done above board, and I'm pretty sure Henry Moore will be given the word. Right now, 19 points is comfortable, but it's potentially a stay behind here for the 77 and be a bit of a rear gunner. We'll have to wait to see how that one's going to unfold. Here comes Graham Carroll with a look to the inside. It might be 19 points for now, but it's about to switch potentially because Carroll's making a move on Leo Brown. Through the first corner they go. Bit of lead on him between the pair of them. Leo Brown's on the outside. Graham Carroll's committed to the inside. 3 laps left to go. Carroll's trying to squeeze his way past. Could he be through in a second? Yes, he is. And look at that gap. It goes from 19 straight down to 9.
And guess what? It's going to be another 6 points if he can get this victory, which means it would only be 3 points the gap. We do need Baldy also to get past Leo Brown. Realistically, that would be another 4 points. So it's getting close for Ferrari, but they are relying on Baldy to get involved as well. For the race lead, maybe, for Sarika.
Oh, I will say Gogo Bel's having to defend from Matt Caruana. He's getting to the outside. This could cost Ferrari big here. Caruana goes around the outside. He's going to still be on the outside move as they head their way through Westfield Bend, drop down the hill through Dingle Dell. And Gogo Baldi's going to lose out here. He's got the inside as they head into Sheen, but that's going to be Caruana through into 4th position. And for Ferrari, that's cost them 3 very important points. There's allowed Remy Gilbert to really get involved in the fight. I think he might be on the outside here. No, he's side by side behind him. I mean, this is going to get difficult for Baldi.
Certainly is up the inside. There's the 89 machine, Elias Riker, trying to go side by side with the 77 of Henry Moore. And that's going to leave these two to go at it. 2 laps remain of the season. Up the inside for Graham Carroll. This is important points.
Yeah, Moreno Sarica looking for his first victory in British F4 Esports. Graham Carroll looking for the number 1 on his car. He is the champion. He's just finished good enough to take the championship in the previous race. And he's come through now to take the race lead. He could be winning his 3rd one of the season here. And Ferrari, they're looking good in the teams, but for Guild, it's just about enough. No mistakes from them, and they will be the team's champion by 6 points. Cam, it's crazy.
Yeah, Carroll can do no more. It's down to Brown not making a mistake, and Baldy with the defence in the background. He's got Remy Gilbert to his outside as they come up towards Hawthorne. Side by side, 2 by 2 we go. We got Baldy on the inside. Round the outside, it's going to be for Remy Gilbert. He's going to be squeezed just about onto the grass as Baldy tries to hold on.
Oh, I'm not sure this is like the wisest move. I'd say Henry Moore, slow down Elias Riker and maybe try and not go through, just sit behind. But of course, Gogo Baldi will be playing his games to the outside then. I mean, it's worked out brilliantly for Remy Gilbert, who's got around the outside of Gogo Baldi. Open up the door for Henry Moore to come through as well. As we're about ready to start the final lap of the race. Guild leading the team's championship. Gogo Baldi's got out of it. I think he might have a penalty.
Potentially he might do. He comes into the pit lane and that is it. Game, set, a match. Carroll can do no more unless there's a big crash for the Guild cars. That is going to be championship basically sorted as you come into this final lap. Carroll though might finish the season as champion with a race victory.
Yeah, congratulations to Guild. With all things said and done, it'll be an easy final lap for them. They will be the team's champions in not too long, just one final lap of this Brands Hatch circuit. Moreno Sarica, though, would love his first victory in British F4 Esports. It'll be his first podium of the season regardless. At the moment, he is in position for it.
Yeah, this has been such a crazy season, and there may be one final twist in the tail. Can Williams, after the kind of disastrous season that they've had, can they get a final victory in the 69 machine of Sarica? He's just got half a lap to go and to try and find his way past.
But Graham Carroll, I mean, there's a reason he's the champion-elect. There's a reason he's the one that's in position. There's a reason that he has been so consistent this season. He said in the interview he was going to go all out for the victory. He's done exactly that. Penultimate corner ticked off. Final corner about ready to be ticked off. He says let's go because he knows that there's probably nothing Moreno Sarica can do. Out through the final corner. The 2024 champion for the 3rd time this season is about to take victory. It is Graham Carroll on top here in West Kingstown, ending the season in a very positive way for the champion. It won't be the championship for Ferrari, but it will be the Drivers' Championship for Graham Carroll. Moreno Sarica onto the podium, and Leo Brown in 3rd, Remy Gilbert in 5th. It will be enough for Guild Esports to be confirmed the 2024 Teams Champions here in the British F4 Esports Championship.
Awesome battle between those two teams. The gap in the end, 32 points, is going to be a little bit bigger than potentially what the results have shown. It's been an insane battle between those. It's gone back and forth, back and forward. We had good racing, we had bad racing, we had penalties in there as well, especially for the Guild drivers on occasion. But they came out strong in the end, and with Gogo Baldi getting a penalty at a crucial time, just sealed the deal. And also shout out to Mensa as well, getting 3rd place. Matt Caruana in 4th on the road today with a few victories this season.
Yeah, Ronnie Smith as well, taking an 8th position. Great stuff for the Mensa Racing driven by us team. But yes, let's focus on the final race. Provisional results, of course. Graham Carroll, the Scuderia Ferrari HP Esports team, on to the top step of the podium once again. We'll catch up with him in a moment, along with Moreno Sarica and Leo Brown. Matt Caruana there in 4th position, obviously winning the first race of the evening. Remy Gilbert there in 5th. Henry Moore up to 6th place. Excellent battle for him this season. A truly truly brilliant battle with Graham Carroll. Up to 6th place he gets to in the season finale, though. Elias Riker in 7th, Ronnie Smith in 8th, Isaac Price in 9th, and Will Murdoch rounding out the top 10 for BS competition. Double top 10 for BS competition, that's not too bad. Giuseppe Lafaro in 11th, Joel Hull went up for the rear of the field to 12th, Yoni Kattler in 13th with Joseph Lowe having connection issues, and then that spin up at Druids down to 14th. Bit of a disappointing final round for the Aston Martin Aramco Esports team. Sergio Fitzpatrick in 15th position, just ahead of Olivia Hayward, who had her own dramas. Then Gogo Bowdy retired from the race after a penalty. And then obviously Pablo Espes, Peter Stachacek, and Samueli Villa with the retirement of Manuel Biancalilla and Will Chadwick. What an absolutely crazy final round. You can hear I'm losing my voice. So let's grab our way in to the series champion for one final time, one final chat, and one final victory. Graham Carroll, you said in your interview earlier on you were going to go and try and win it, and you did. Great stuff. What a drive.
Thank you very much. I was thanking everyone, thinking I wasn't going to get a podium, but I think the reverse grid obviously played quite a big part in it, and then trying to work the team's constructors thing out a little bit with Gergo, and didn't really want to pass him, and we just had to sort of see what was going on and see what was going to happen with Moreno and Leo up the front. So once he got by and Gergo kind of struggled a bit, we sort of swapped over, and my tyres were like brand new, sort of lap 8, so it felt really good, and I just had the pace. So buzzing, yeah. Honestly, we kind of dreaded coming into today with it all on the plate, but yeah, the pace sort of paid off again and went really well.
It's been a really, really positive season for you, for the team as well. Like I say, Gogo, really kind of an experience in iRacing, also on touring cars anyway. It's been very, very positive for you and Ferrari. So tell us, what's next for Graham Carroll in the world of sim racing? I mean, where are we going to see you?
I need a bit of time off now. But, listen, obviously you see the new Ferrari coming to iRacing in the coming month or so. So all hands on deck when the 499 arrives to iRacing. So a very exciting time to have the sort of this hypercar coming to iRacing. So yeah, it's kind of getting away from the 20-minute races, more into sort of endurance stuff after this. But I like a bit of both, right? As long as we're mixing it up, and we'll come back, hopefully do F4 next year. Defend the championship, and do a bit more endurance stuff and sort of here, there, and everywhere. So nothing really set in stone what we're going to do, but as a team, we're just looking to grow in iRacing, and that's what we've done, and that's what we're doing. So yeah, just hope to continue that, really.
You've definitely earned a bit of a breather, though. Well, I'll let you go and have it. Graham, thank you so much for an excellent season. Thank you for being a great driver, and thank you for being our champion.
Thank you very much, yourself, Lewis, and Cameron. Much appreciated for all the commentary during the season. It's been mega to watch back, apart from the ones that are crashing. But hopefully I'll be back next year. Thank you very much, guys. Cheers again.
Fingers crossed. Cheers, Graham.
Thank you.
There we go then. Graham Carroll, our series champion. Absolutely epic drive throughout the season. And we get to chat to someone new. Well, at least for this season anyway. It's Moreno Sarika. Let us drag Moreno into here. It's been a while since we've had you in the comms booth for an interview. Of course, back in 2023, we saw you on the podium a few times, and it's been a little wait. I mean, Williams did not start out the season in a positive way. You then joined the season 4 rounds in, and suddenly things started to turn around. What do you make of that one?
Yeah, I mean, I was quite busy with the Porsche Contender Series, so I couldn't really focus on this championship at the beginning. That's why I decided to let the other, let's say, the kids drive. And then I came back, and to be honest, it's been a little bit of a struggle, I'd say, since I always had decent pace, but never had, that little extra to fight for the win. But today, I don't know, was just feeling a lot better with the car, and had even in the first race, I had quite a big moment at the end of the first lap in turn 1, and lost a couple of places, but I had enough pace to gain all the places back and even attack for top 5. Fortunately, there was no time left, but showed good pace, definitely.
Obviously, as a driver who's you did a round back in 2022, obviously you did the entirety of 2023, and now joining for about the halfway point of 2024. What do you make of the British F4 Esports Championship and some of the changes? Obviously, we've been running fixed setup this season rather than the open setup. But I mean, what's your view on where we are now and where the series can end up being next year and in the years to come?
I definitely quite like the fixed setup idea, since you definitely focus more on the driving side rather than trying to kind of exploit the car a little bit with the setups. And from what I could see compared to last year, the pack seemed a bit closer as well, because I guess that's because of the setup as well. Yeah, I mean, definitely the production is and the everything around the series seems quite professional. So I quite like to race as well, since this short and close racing, it's quite similar to what we have in PESC. So it's also kind of a good training for me as well. But having lighter cars makes everything a lot easier and a lot more enjoyable. So it's definitely a positive trend from from when we started to where we are now.
And like you say, it's been an excellent run for you. Sadly, we didn't quite get that first victory for you, Moreno. But again, another podium ticked off. Thank you so much for joining us and having an excellent second half of the season as well.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
There we go. Moreno Sirica onto the podium for the season finale. One more driver to touch with, and then we will catch up with a team manager of a certain Guild Esports. Before that, we'll talk to one of his drivers. Leo, obviously, you started out the season in incredible form with that victory and backing it up with a podium in the season finale. But most importantly, backing it up with the team's championship. I mean, really positive vibes there for you and the team. What a way to have your first season in British F4 Esports. How are you feeling?
Yeah, very good. I'm happy to win the teams. I think that's what I was very wary in that race about that. I think if it was any other race, I would have probably changed the win a little bit more. But no, I was just kind of doing what I needed to do there and secure the team's championship.
We talked a lot to your teammate Remy, obviously after race one, about how it was in this race, and how he was kind of playing it. And then, of course, you going into this, you've got your team manager Seb Hawkins in your ear and stuff like that. Is that quite hard to juggle when you're in the race? Hearing all the points, hearing all these positions, especially when at points in that it was getting very close championship-wise.
Yeah, it was getting close, but as I say, I knew what I needed to do. I knew where I needed to finish, really. I would have liked to have a car in between me and the Ferraris at one point, like Moreno. Obviously, I'd love to win, but at the end of the day, if that does the job, it does the job. So yeah, Seb's a big help to us, and without him, I don't think we'd have won the team championship.
Obviously, you've been a fantastic addition to the 2024 season. It's been very exciting to watch you race. Where are we expecting to see you racing in future?
Esports wise, not a clue, to be honest with you. But I'm sure stuff will be lined up, and hopefully we'll be back next year to try and defend our title.
We'll keep our fingers crossed. Leo, thank you so much. Been an excellent season, and I'm sure we'll be chatting to you quite a lot over the next few months.
Thank you.
And there we go. All the drivers complete. Then one final person to talk to. It's one Mr. Seb Hawkins. It's one of the first people that I spoke to before this season got underway. And it feels fitting that you're the last person that I speak to this season. Seb Hawkins, team manager of Guild Esports, series champions on the team side. I mean, that's incredible. What a season for you guys.
It's been fantastic, to be honest with you. It was, I think we expected to have some good results this year, but I don't know if we expected to be battling Ferrari in the final round of the championship. That definitely gave me some work to do in a Sheets document and try work out who was coming out on top.
I mean, let's talk about Guild Esports as a whole. Obviously, it's been in sim racing not for too long, but 2024 we've seen some big highs. Obviously, we said this about the Esports World Cup and plenty of other events, and now here as well. It's kind of like Guild's going from strength to strength. You've got a fantastic roster of drivers, of course. Those coming up like Henry Moore and such. Obviously, with Leo and Remy here, things are looking really positive for Guild moving into next year, right? Yeah,
definitely. I think. When we spoke at the start of the season, it was about giving these drivers an opportunity to go and perform at a stage like this against some seasoned professionals. We were against Graham Carroll with Henry, right? And it's still a huge achievement for Henry to finish the season in P2 and be up there with the battles that he was having on track. And I think the respect that was on track in the final rounds was also great. But yeah, strength to strength, and I think pretty impressed to see Remy come back as well, and also be showing what he was made of after last year. It was again a big learning curve for him as well, and Leo holding his own out there was fantastic. So I think all three of them have done a fantastic job. It was a shame Henry didn't have a stronger chance in race 2 to fight for that championship, and it was done and dusted in race 1, but that's how it is. But he's very grateful for that opportunity, which is awesome, and I think Leo and Remy have worked fantastically together. But yeah, it's the teamwork. Ultimately the three of them have been fantastic this season, getting on and working hard behind the scenes in between studies and other things they've got going on. But yeah, it's a big success.
Obviously, we kind of saw you lot battling very, very strongly right from the start of the season. It seemed like there were positive vibes right from the get-go. What have you learned through the season? What are you going to be learning going into 2025? Is there anything that you kind of pieced together from this that maybe you didn't know before the start of the season about your drivers?
Probably just that with good communication, they work very efficiently. We knew that we didn't have to go out for the wins in these final 2 races. We knew we had to have strong qualifying with the drivers that could, and we know that good communication allows them to make good educated decisions on track and not force the racecraft that would be going for wins or going for podiums. Today's success was in making sure we kept that points gap, so it meant we didn't have to do any silly moves. Obviously the championship allowed us to have a bit of flexibility, and obviously wins in both races would have allowed us to breathe and my heart rate to come down for the final race. But I think we noticed it through the full season. There was opportunity where we could work together and really strategize around how we take on other teams, and we see it with the other teams as well. So I think that's been super beneficial from our side.
Well, Seb, congratulations to the team. Obviously past now. Congratulations to the rest of them. Big thanks for joining us here in the interview booth, and yeah, I'm sure we'll be talking to you quite a lot in 2025.
Awesome, thank you, and great job, guys.
And there we go, Cam. Season's over. That's it. Final roundup from you after what's been an incredible run in 2024. It's been a thrilling season. It's been so exciting. Obviously here in the F4s as well as in the Formula Fords.
Absolutely great season. Of course, new track going to Zandvoort, some new teams, the likes of Ferrari getting involved, and in general just a great championship. I mean, when behind the scenes we were already talking about this months ago, I was like, get in my diary straight away. Definitely want to be involved in that one. Such a good series, and yeah, very thankful to be on it for the second season in a row. It really is one of the highlights of the year for me.
Yeah, certainly is. And again, a lot of positives still to come. We'll be keeping an eye on this championship over the next few years. I know a few of the drivers on the grid will be taking part in the Butt Kicker Brick Car 24-hour of Silverstone, which is coming up at the weekend. So there's so much to talk about on that. And there's so many people to thank. Obviously, all of our partners have helped us to this point. Really, the hard work's been put in from Paul Crawford and Andy Shield as well behind the scenes to bring it. And of course, the big thanks to all of you joining us here throughout the 2024 season. It's been amazing fun from myself, Lewis McGlade, from Cameron Roger, from Hugo Luis, who of course we could not have done this broadcast without of. It's a huge thanks from us for you to join us this season. And again, we'll see you again in 2025. Graham Carroll is our champion. Guild Esports are our team's champion. Of course, big shout out to Mark Fletcher, who won in the Formula Fords earlier on in the night. We'll see you in 2025 when the British F4 Esports Championship continues. Until then, thank you so much and have a very warm goodbye.